Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to stoop. Hustle and dreams in every loop. In the park he struts, hits the handball wall. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a confident grin. On the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway hum, the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill, Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go.
Testing, testing, testing. Can you hear me? Uh, testing, testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Can you hear me? It's a sad day in American life, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Audio 100%. All right. Well, you may have heard the news. There was some breaking news earlier today. You may have heard. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how Aaron Rodgers used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance, I could make those people cheer and maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me shiver with every paper I'd deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed wide receiver. Something touched me deep inside the day the music died. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers, it appears by all reports, is no longer a New York Jet. Aaron Rodgers, the era of the Renta legend, is going bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Uh, so yeah, that's the big news. We thought we would get it later in the week. This week, we thought it would come after the Super Bowl, but some reason, somehow, somebody's still leaking to Jay Glazer out of the Jets building, which is still annoying. But the news this afternoon, the Jets have been talking to and meeting with Aaron Rodgers about his potential role for next season. Ultimately decided time to move on. So no more Aaron Rodgers. And I think the fan base is pretty upset from what I can tell from gathering opinions all day on the interwebs. A lot of people not very happy about the decision. People are confused about what we're going to do next, what's going to come next at the quarterback position, what's going on. But one of the things that you now know, this is AG's team for sure. Like, there's no doubt about it, good or bad, whatever happens, this is now AG's team. And so, if you want to look at it optimistically, it's in AG we trust. In AG we trust. And I think, you know, look, it's looking bleak right now today because we don't know what the hell we're going to do next um, in terms of the quarterback position. So that's what's not looking good about it. Um, Now, as I've said, the three amigos, it does seem like that sentiment has been put out there also by Zach Rosenblatt and others that, if Rodgers goes, then so goes Adams and so goes Lazard. So that's good for the cap, but not so good for your roster because now you got three big holes on the roster to fill for next year. And then next year we got a lot of cap to eat, dead cap, and then the next year we still have some dead cap, but by then we'll be in much better shape. And that's where we are right now. As this Super Bowl's getting underway, they're doing the coin flip. Okay, shaking hands. How you doing? We keep it moving. So the game should be starting here within the next 5 or 10 minutes. We'll keep an eye on that. Um, and we'll talk about the Jets. We did not expect to have this news from Aaron Rodgers today. Certainly did not. But we got it out of Jay Glazer. Jojo says this could be a long season ahead. Yeah, it certainly could. But I have some solutions. I have some. We are going to have anywhere between 30 and 40 million to spend in free agency. I have some ideas about who we could get. We do have decent draft capital. Um, Not great draft capital, but pretty decent. NYC Sports says smart cat move, dumb football move. Yeah, well, this is what AG has decided to do, and AG and his, and all the brain trusts. So let's see how it plays out. It's a pretty. I have to say I was pretty disappointed, but I do want to see what the plan is. I mean, that's the thing that's annoying about it is we don't know what the next step is, right? We don't know what they're going to do. Woody and Brick are at the game. Maybe they leaked it. I don't think they leaked it. You know, I wish they would find out who's leaking to Glazer and just fire that person immediately. we just can't have all these leakers, man. I mean, and it's funny because none of the Jet beat writers had it. None of the other national writers had it. It was one guy, Glazer, and he called it big scoopage. Uh, and so he was the only one who had it. So who's the guy who's leaking to Glazer? It could be so many different people, though. Could be so many different people. Tom Cruise is now on the television for some reason. How old is Tom Cruise, anyways? Show Joe Namath, our greatest moment in history. It's a brave new world, for better or worse. We just got to ride the wave. Yeah, we got to see what's going to come next. This was step number one. They decided to go the route of clearing up some cap space and getting rid of the three amigos. That was the first question that we needed to know. It'll be interesting to see if Rodgers wants to retire or go somewhere else. I don't think anybody can know at this point. It seemed like he wanted to play from the reports we got. He was flying in. He was talking to the Jets. If he wanted to retire, he just would have retired. So we'll see if he finds a match. Could see him going to a team like the Raiders, maybe, or Tennessee, maybe. If they're not happy with the draftable QBs. They want a stopgap bridge. Maybe they want to deal with the Rodgers uh, experience. But this is AG's team now. So whatever happens, good or bad, this is AG's team now. So let's hope he turns out to be a great one because we're going to need him to be. Well, Woody definitely is at the Super Bowl event, but I really doubt he's leaking things to Jay Glazer. I don't see why he would. Uh, it doesn't do the Jets any favors that it got leaked out there. So it's not in the Jets' interest for this to have come out today on Super Bowl Sunday. So I don't think because then it looks like we're trying to upstage the Super Bowl, which we're not, as far as we know. Don't forget, none of the Jet beat writers had anything on it, and in fact, when rumors started coming out, Zach Rosenblatt came out and said, actually, there's nothing on this right now, in terms of the timing or anything else, because he couldn't get any information from his sources at the Jets. And if the Jets want to leak something, they usually do it to either Connor Hughes or Rosenblatt. Those are the two they leak to when they're intentional about it. When it's like an official Jets leakage usually goes to Hughes or Rosenblatt. They're the ones who have the best team sources, I would say, if you put it that way. So I don't think so. I mean, you never know in this crazy world. There's lots of things that we don't know about intentions and motivations and this and that. So you never really do know. Woody is at the game. Rosenblatt took a picture of him. So while all this is going on with the Jets, Woody and Brick and the boys are down in New Orleans, and they're about to kick it off now. Butker is the butt kicker, and he butt kicks it off to the Eagles and goes out of bounds. So we can get the tush push and the butt kicker all going in the same game. So that's good. A lot of rear guard action in this one. But now Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles will trot onto the field. A.J. Brown, you may have heard of him. Saquon Barkley, you may have heard of him. Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, you may have heard of him. Mekhi Becton, you may have heard of him. He's on this team as well. Braden Mann, our old punter that we drafted, he's on this team as well. So Bryce Huff, you may have heard, not active in this game. So they paid $17 million to a fella. They get to the Super Bowl, and he's inactive. So that's $17 million well spent. But nonetheless, they're in the Super Bowl, and we're not. And the first play is a handoff to Saquon Barkley, and he makes about 4 or 5 yards on the first play of the Super Bowl. They got an interesting chyron on this now. This is Fox running this game, and they have sort of an interesting minimalist chyron here. I don't think I've seen this before. I think they're debuting this Not sure I like it very well. I think I preferred their older one, but the bottom chyron's really kind of different. Okay. Looks kind of simplified. All right, now Hertz is back to pass, looks to his right, fakes, pumps, now rolling to his right, throws down the sideline, hits the Slim Reaper. Devontae Smith, number 6, for a first down. Philadelphia. So they're moving the ball against Spags early. JoJo says Steelers. Yeah, that's one place that's been mentioned. We got to see what the Steelers do. Um, Rumors are they might keep Fields. The other thing is if the thing that I was thinking about this morning or the other night was if the rumors are true that the Rams want to trade Stafford, they could trade Stafford and Cup to the Steelers. That would be a perfect destination for those two. But yeah, Rodgers could end up in Pittsburgh if he really wanted to do that. He's always had an admiration for Mike Tomlin. Obviously, a great defense. What could that offense look like with Rodgers throwing to Pickens? That could be a destination. Could be. Could be. Could be. Our lucky goes to Miami. Well, nah, he's not going to go to Miami. I don't think so, Todd. They got to stick with Tua. Don't forget, they just paid Tua. Rodgers is not going to go to a place where he's going to be a backup. Um, and they just paid Tua a lot of money. Man, you see the way Mackay's playing now. It's actually, people should give Joe Douglas credit for drafting this kid. This is what he could have been all along. The way he's playing, even though he's playing it at guard now. This is what Douglas and all the scouts and everybody envisioned when they saw him coming out of college. And he's in much better shape now. And maybe the guard position is where he needs to be. You don't think of guards being this tall and big, but in modern day NFL, maybe it works. Maybe more guys who are failed tackles move inside to guard. Maybe they can handle that position. So we'll see what becomes of old Mackay. Seems like he's going to get a nice contract in the offseason based on his play. Thinking is overrated. Yeah, yeah. Thinking is overrated. We got to be doing. But the problem is we didn't do either. So, you can say thinking is overrated and we got to do things all you want, Mr. Johnson, but then you got to do those things. You can't just say thinking is overrated and then not do the things. Then people will make fun of you. That's what happens. All right, Hurts now moving down the field, looks to his right side, down the sideline pass. He's got a man. It's A.J. Brown. It's a completion. A.J. Brown takes time out from reading his book on the sideline to catch a pass. Oh, there's a flag on the play. Big play for the Eagles. Flag on the play. The Kansas Swifties, what? Pass interference, offense. The Kansas Swifty Chiefs, the fix is in. First big play of the game, they got to call it on pass interference on AJ. Let's see if it was pass interference. I do not like these graphics on Fox. Let's see. I mean, there's hand contact there, but I guess. Ticky tack, I would call that one ticky tack. But he did swat his face. So I guess. Ticky tack, though. Ticky tack. But I guess technically. And that's why they can always get away with these calls because almost always when you look at it, it could technically go either way. Raid man with a punt. El Puntadero. And so Mahomes and the Chiefs will have it at about the 12-yard line. NYC Sports says 4D Chess thought Rodgers doesn't want to come back and start over. He leaks that the Jets don't want him back, so he doesn't look like the bad guy. Oh, he was the leaker. Well, it wouldn't be him; it'd probably be his agent. But I get the point. Although in this scenario, why wouldn't he just retire? Come out and say, go on the McAfee show or wherever and say, I'm going to retire. Or you're saying he doesn't want to retire; he wants to play somewhere else. What is this stupid commercial with Ben Affleck? I don't have the and Bill Belichick and Ben Affleck. They must have paid these guys $1 billion just to sell Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, and I don't have the sound on, so I can't. I have no idea what they're talking about. But this is a commercial for Dunkin' Donuts with Ben Affleck and Bill Belichick, and people wearing Dunkin' Donuts orange. It's very strange. But anyway, so you're saying, okay, he wants to go to play somewhere else, but he doesn't want to make it seem like that, so he puts it out. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe. You never know. And maybe the Jets are okay with that. Phil Adams says it's a win-win. Chiefs, and it goes some way to eclipse New England Patriots, Eagles, and we get to see 3X Jets get a ring, and 10 billion Swifties cry in unison. I think the Swifties crying would be good, although they like to cry, so that's not really a punishment for them. They like all the Taylor Swift sad songs that make them cry, so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And plus, if the Chiefs win, it's probably more likely that Travis Kelsey retires, which, you know, would be good for the rest of the competition in the AFC because he's annoying to deal with. Looks new. Need to get used to it. Yeah, I don't like these graphics, man. I don't like them. They look worse. Bill Adams says flag number one. Yep, flag number one. And of course, it goes against the Eagles on a ticky tack. Ticky tack. Tickety tackety. Little ticky tack. Ticky tack. Yeah, I'm already in the AG era. You guys, look at it. Look at this. Check it out. Check it out. So you need to. You guys need to get on board with AG over here. Not sponsored, by the way. But okay, so now Mahomes and the Swifties have the ball. They're in 11 personnel as an orbit motion. Throws it over the middle to Juju Smith-Schuster, the Juju man. He's bringing the Juju, and that looks like a first down. Boy, I do not like these graphics at all. These look like graphics that like I would design on my own, like if I didn't know what I was doing and I needed to get it done in like 30 minutes. That's what these graphics look like. Like I did this. If I had a project, I had to get it done in 30 minutes. I wasn't sure what to do, so I just put some background on it and all the basics. That's terrible. Whoever came up with that should be fired. They throw it outside to Xavier Worthy. He's fast, but he only gets 2 yards. Remember, he ran a 4.29 or something like that at the combine. He fast. He very, very fast. And of course, after this game, it's anticipated that the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, Kellen Moore, will become the head coach of your New Orleans Saints. So that's something to keep in mind. Mahomes in the shotgun. Looks like 11 personnel, or maybe 10 personnel, actually. Throws it over the middle to Kelsey. Incomplete. Incompleto. Threw it a little behind. No bueno. 3rd down and 9. Logo says it's in the way of the game. Should be in the corner of this. Yeah, right. Or make it. Yeah, it just looks weird, right? Or make it its whole an own thing. It just looks like it's weird. It's very, very weird. Whoever came up with this should be fired immediately. But now we got 3rd down and 9, 10:03 to go. Clock stopped. We got 11 personnel, though they're 4 wide out in a 3-by-1 alignment. Mahomes looking to his left now, scrambling around. Not supposed to do that, Mahomes. Throws it. Oh! Oh boy, almost a pick. Look at Mahomes. That was downright Zach Wilson-esque. That whole sequence. First of all, he's running backwards. You shouldn't do that. You know, that's a Zach Wilson special. It does a little didgeridoo and a little running backwards, and then he throws it up into double coverage and almost gets picked off. Boy, that was I don't know. He's imitating Zach Wilson today. So now the punt god is on the field. His name is Ariza. He's AKA the Puntadero deity or the punt god, some call him. And he punts it away. A nice punt. Cooper DeJean's got it. Remember, he had a very controversial uh, punt run back in college last year, if you remember. Very controversial. Was it a fair catch? Was it not a fair catch? Et cetera, et cetera. NYC Sports says, do you think Tyrod is a starter with the hope Jordan Travis or another TBD? Hang on a second. There we go. Or TBD Young. We don't know. NYC Sport 1233. We don't know. It's not going to be a complete tank. No, not going to be a complete tank. Right now, the odds are Tyrod's our starter. Jordan Travis is on the roster. We have no idea what he is. So as of right now, today, Tyrod's the starter. Travis is on the roster. Hopefully, Travis is healthy enough to play, and we'll see what he can do. But we have no idea. Remember, he was graded out as a fifth, sixth round pick, and we took him in the fifth round. So the hopes can't be too high right now for him, but we'll see. And then we have to see what they're going to do. There's some rumors that we really like Shador Sanders. There's other rumors that we want to get Justin Fields and pair him up with Garrett Wilson and make Garrett happy. Now, of all these people, for all these things that have happened, Garrett Wilson should be happy. You know, now he's the clear number one wide receiver on this team, and he won't have Rodgers on the team that he clashed with at times last year, if you remember. And so he should be happy, and then he'll be even happier if we get his old college buddy, Justin Fields. But we don't know if we will get him, but we'll see. And this is why people are not happy right now, because it's not a known quantity at the quarterback position, and that is the worst place in the world to be in the NFL. That is. So not going to be a tank, no. But if we want to go for somebody in the 26 class, we'll just have to make a trade to make it happen. You know, if we want a Drew Aller or a Garrett Nussmeier or one of these people. But it's not going to be a tank. Graphics are 3, font size is too big. Yeah, maybe that's what it is, Phil. I really don't see a tank. I think that I mean we got to just wait and see. I mean we just don't know enough information yet. We'll see what they do in free agency, and we'll see what they do in the draft. It's hard to say what their philosophy is going to be. We don't even know. I mean, we just don't have enough information. We don't have interviews with them. We don't have explanations. We don't have actions. So far, the only thing they've done is sign a fullback. So, I mean, it's hard to get a read. I was thinking that Rodgers was coming back, and I didn't get that right. So, I was wrong about that. So, I don't know. I just don't know. All right, now the Eagles have the ball on the negative 31-yard line here. It's 21 formation, 2 backs in the backfield, including a fullback. And they give to Barkley. He goes ahead for about 1.5 yards there. So they went big personnel and couldn't punch it through, even with the run with the fullback on the field. I think that's blazing game. Rarely used fullback, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta love fullback in the football game. But yeah, I mean, right now we just don't have enough information to know anything. When we go to a commercial break or something like that, I'll break down some of the people we could get, because it's a little easier to think about as Hertz completes a pass to Goddard across the 50-yard line into Chiefs territory. Game is 0-0 so far in this Super Bowl LIX. I guess that stands for 59 in Roman numerals. L for 50, IX for 9, 1 before 10. All right, now Hertz is in the shotgun. He's got 11 personnel with Jahan Dotson on the field, who really didn't make an impact with them this year. Barkley on a running play gets about 3 yards or so before they cut him down. Yeah, I mean, we got to wait and see what Rodgers says. If he's on McAfee, is he going to spill the beans? Is he going to. No, this is the one guy we cannot get. This is JoJo. If we get this guy, I'm out. I'm out. Or I'll be actively rooting against him. I will be. I'll be on the live streams actively rooting against him. That's the one guy we cannot get. No way. No way. I'd rather have Sam Darnold. I'd rather have Zach Wilson than Mac Jones. We're not getting Mac Jones. Don't even put that in the universe, JoJo. No siree, Bob. We're not getting a dick kicker on our team. He kicks too many dicks. Literally, we're not getting him on our team. Forget that. Not happening. No siree, Bob. No siree, Bob. That was a terrible pass. Way too high. What was he doing? Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. You broke the rules here, fellas. See, we got a rule violation here, fellas. They're gonna call that. That's a bit of a flop. Looking a little floppy there, Goddard. I mean, the guy's just jumping, and he just happens to hit you. I mean, get over it, Goddard. A little floppy there, Goddard. Little floppy. You're looking a little floppy there. Looking a little floppy. Looking a little floppy. Looking a little floppy. Yeah, flag against KC. They give him one. I guess you got to. I guess you got to give him one once in a while. Now we got a. What is this? 12 personnel. Looked like. Barkley has Saquon Barkley has not gotten off to a good start so far, and you would think that probably if you looked at the tape that they're stacking the box against him. Although in that play I think he just slipped, but you would think that part of Spag's strategy in this game would be, all right, we're going to load the box, we're going to stop Barkley, not going to let him run for 7 million yards, we're going to put a stop to that, and we're going to challenge Jalen Hurts to beat us on the outside. Now the problem with that is Jalen Hurts is very well capable of doing so. And so, it's pick your poison. That's why they're, a very good team. But probably that's what Spags is doing. Although here he's in nickel, not loading the box here, but he is sending a blitz. So there you go. Jalen Hurts finds his man, and it is Jahan Dotson, a guy who hasn't done much all season. Came over from the Commanders, so he's able to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Good for him. Number 83, they made that trade. And I guess you could say it paid off, even if that's the only thing he did all year. So he sent the blitz, but you better get home. And they didn't get home. And Jalen Hurts, just like I said, beat you on the outside. Let's see if he got into the end zone. No, he did not. So that will not be a touchdown, but they'll have the ball at the 1 yard line. You know what comes next? The old tushy pushy. It's time for pushing a tush. And so now the tush pushers will start pushing the tush. It's going to be a push tushing all the way. And that's the way it is. Yeah, exactly. Nice throw. Yeah, exactly. But that's the whole point. It's like, all right, we're going to take away Barkley. Okay. And then when he is back to pass, we're going to send a blitz. Okay. But if the blitz gets picked up, Hurts can do that. Drop it right in the bucket. Early in his career, he could not do that as well. Now that he can, now he's dangerous, and this is why he makes the money he makes. This is why the Eagles are what they are, and especially this year with Barkley on the team. So, There you go. You got to pick your poison. Spagnuolo picked his poison, and he got poisoned. He got poisoned. He got a little hemlock. He got hemlock. Got a little hemlock. Got a little hemlock. So yeah, I guess they're probably. I don't know if they're going to review this, but I started to work on some possible free agents. I don't know if you guys want to hear at this moment in time what kind of free agents could we possibly get given how much money we have. I don't know if you guys are ready for that yet, but I started to work on some ideas, some things that we might do in the free agent area. Uh, Let me know in the chat if you want to review that as game rolls along, especially if there's longer commercial breaks and so forth and so on. This looks like a long commercial break for some reason. As we keep track of this Super Bowl between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Dooby dooby doo. Wow. Some of the Rodgers are saying that the Eagles fans just booed Taylor Swift. And she's actually from Pennsylvania. She's she was a fake country singer, if you remember, at the beginning of her career. All right, here comes a pushy tushies. We're pushing and tushing and tushing and pushing, and there it goes, ladies and gentlemen. The play that no one can ever stop. The old tush push, the push of the tush, the Philadelphia pushy tushies. There you go. The play no one can figure out how to stop it. They're probably going to outlaw this, I'd say, in the off season. Some talk about that. It's not really a football play. I don't think you should be able to push any ball carrier this in this way or any kind of way. When a pile happens and they start pushing people, I don't think that should be legal for any kind of pushing or any kind of assistance on running, pushing, pulling, any kind of assistance that way. An extra point up and bueno. So 7-0 Philadelphia over the Kansas Swifty Chiefs. And they remind us that the halftime show will have Kendrick Lamar, K dot. I wonder if I'm going to be able to listen to that while I'm on the air, but I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, we didn't have a spot for him at guard, if you remember. Unfortunately, we needed him to play tackle because that's where we had a need. But yeah, I mean, he was protesting, even moving to the right side, if you remember. I am a left tackle, he tweeted. So he had attitude problems when he was with us. He had injury problems. He had weight problems. He had basically every kind of problem you could imagine. Then he goes over to Philadelphia and he suddenly has none of those problems. He gets in phenomenal shape. He stays healthy all year. He'll play any position you ask him to. All of a sudden, he's got none of the issues that he did with us. So this is one of those things with the Jets, and you know that's over with now. And we'll have to see if AG can change the culture, change things up, and take and utilize whatever players we do have, to the greatest extent that we can. And here's run back on the kickoff, gets it out to about the 33-yard line. Remigio seems like a good special teams player there. Another glazing up the chefs. All the wins that they've had, Super Bowl appearances, you name it, they got it. Um, this is 12 personnel. Go by like a 2-by-2 formation now. Mahomes back to pass, looking, no pressure, no pass rush whatsoever. Throws it underneath to Juju Smith-Schuster. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards on the play. So it'll be second down now. 7-0 Eagles. Chiefs have not done much on offense. On that one, no pressure on Mahomes at all. He was looking to go deep, but then decided instead to drop it off to Smith Schuster. Smitty Schuster. That's not good. Kelsey ran into the running back on that one. That was not how it's designed, Travis. Now, Kelsey's wearing his red cleats in this game. Normally in the playoffs, he's wearing yellow cleats. This game, he goes with the red. So, interesting choice. Uh, most of the Kansas City players have white, or at least the white tape over the cleats. Sometimes you got to get a tape job over the cleat. And they're pressuring Mahomes now. They almost get to him, and that's an incomplete pass, and it'll be third down now. Oh, no, that was third down. Wow. Okay, so that'll be fourth down. They were not able to convert a third down and 3. That's surprising. Mahomes, Nolan Smith, not the greatest pass rush ever, but just able to get enough of him. And Sweat also on the pressure as well to flush him up in the pocket. And for those who might be wondering, Bryce Huff, inactive in this game. He's inactive for the Super Bowl. Not the greatest season for Mr. Huff. After they signed him to a $17 million AAV deal. That was not a bueno contract, but does it matter? No, because they're in the Super Bowl and we're in, the ghetto, as we always are. We have not escaped yet the NFL ghetto. As I always say, the NFL is like a city. You got your gated community, you got your middle class neighborhood, and you got your ghetto. Gated communities of teams that are always in playoff contention, Super Bowl contention, and so forth and so on. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles now, they're in the gated community. In the middle class community, the teams that are kind of up and down, sometimes they're in contention, sometimes they're not. You don't know what you're going to get year after year. They're in the middle class neighborhood. Then you got the ghetto. And this is where we are. And this is like the Bears and the Jets and all these teams that are always perennial losers, perennial starting it up again, And so we have not yet escaped the ghetto, not since 2011. The modern era of football is 2012 until now. And during that time, we've been ghetto dwellers, and we have not been able to escape the ghetto. Much as we have tried, we just cannot do it. So now we're starting over yet again. We're starting with a new general manager, a new head coach, new coaching staff, and a brand new quarterback. We learned today the New York Jets will not be bringing back, apparently, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. And so we'll just have to see how it all plays out. Well, at least somebody's commenting that Tom Brady has been critical of the referees, so that's good. I mean, that's one way we might get some improvement from the referees if somebody like a Tom Brady publicly is making comments about the refs and not liking the calls and so forth and so on. That's someone that the owners might listen to. Not going to listen to the dumb fans like us, but might listen to Tom Brady Shady Tom Brady saying something wrong. They might listen to that. They might listen to that. They're saying that Pick One had a great blitz pickup, and I would agree. You got to be a great all-around player to stay on the field. You see. Now Philly's got the ball at the negative 20-yard line. 7-0. 4:34 left in the first quarter. Hurts scrambling out to his right, dumps it off to the tight end, but he drops it. Oh no, that's Johnny Wilson, the big wide receiver. Very tall for a wide receiver. Dropped it. That's what happens with these tall people. Too droppy. Way too droppy. Big Green, they're not cutting Bryce Huff, I tell you that much. I mean, if they do, they're taking a huge cap hit for him to play somewhere else. That contract is terrible. Terrible. Might be one of the worst contracts ever. Their cap hit is monstrous next year. I mean, I guess they could cut him and just eat the cap hit, but I'm not sure why they would do that. Might as well just hope he plays better next year. You're paying for him no matter what. If they do cut him, though, he could come back and play for us and get at a minimal contract. we'll be happy to figure out how to use him properly. But I'd be surprised. That contract is bad, 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 very bad. All right, so Jalen Hurts now in a 2-by-2 formation out of 11 personnel. It looks like Slim Reaper's got it. That's a first down for Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, numero 6. Jalen Hurts starting out 4 out of 5, 51 yards. Chris Jones, they were working on the sideline with his neck or something like that, and then they just showed him going up against Becton. I guess you could say Becton won that rep, but he didn't exactly dominate it. But it's Chris Jones. Jahan Dotson now getting involved in the game, ladies and gentlemen. They saved him for the last game of the season for him to do anything. This is kind of what they envisioned when they picked him up. They needed a third receiver. And I was kind of like, well, why would the Commanders give him up then? It was a rare in-division trade, if you recall. And the Commanders, of course, had a great season, so I don't think they minded too much. Here's a quarterback power. Way out to about a yard to go for the first down. But I said, well, why are they just giving him up to an in-division rival, nonetheless, no less? And he wasn't really a big factor. There was a blown block by Mackay. Wasn't really a big factor during the season. But now he's paying dividends. Had a big catch earlier to set up the tushy pushy, and another catch a couple of plays ago. So, when you're a team like Philadelphia, I guess you can just waste $17 million on a player like Bryce Huff if you're going to make the Super Bowl anyway. Who cares? Who cares? 17 million. Who the hell cares? What's 17 million to a Super Bowl playing team? That's a weird play. Weird looking play. Gainwell for a couple of yards. Looked like some of the players weren't ready. But so now they got their 11 personnel on the field on a 2nd and 6. They go with a sort of a 2-by-1 with the tight end in a wing position and the running back offset in a pistol type formation. And they hand it to Gainwell, the running back, and he's tackled quickly for a gain of only about 2 yards by Wharton, who's very fired up about it. You just made a tackle, buddy. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Calm down. Calm down. It's 3rd down now. So they're in field goal range right here. So no need to go crazy if you don't have something. At a 3-by-1 formation out of 11 personnel. Three at the top to Hertz's right, one on the bottom. Looks like he got him isolated. Here comes the blitz, and they do get to him this time, but there's flags all over the place. That's a Spagnolo special. Send the blitz, send an overload blitz, and just blitz the hell out of him. Offsides, defense. So that play is going to get neglected, or not neglected, but negated. O'Menahue, you were, oh yeah, that's for sure. I mean, just look at the ball, dude. What are you doing? Why are you lining up that way? The ball's right there. It's in your line of sight. What are you doing? Well, that that negates a nice blitz, Saccharoni. So now it's first down and 10 at the plus 30-yard line, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we go with 11. We go with a 1-by-2 formation, man in motion now. Tight end in the left wing position. They fake the handoff, mesh point, and that's not going to work. Hertz loses about 4 yards on that one. So Andy Reid maybe trying to call a timeout there. Where is the penetration coming from? Chiefs O-line not playing well. Yeah. It's kind of interesting how they've built the team, the Eagles, and they hit their window. I mean, when you build a team and you use a lot of void years on your contracts, you know, um, you are in your Super Bowl window, and you have to go to the Super Bowl in those years. We did the same thing, and we obviously did not go to the Super Bowl, and that's why we got to deal with all this cap stuff now. And they will too, but if they win today, they'll no matter what happens, they'll say, "Well, yeah, but we won the Super Bowl." So, similar to what the Rams did with Stafford. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Zach Rosenblatt reporting that the Eagles have 119 yards after the first quarter. The Chiefs have 19. And Philly's talent is overwhelming. So Philly has looked like the better team in this game, I would say, so far. And we'll just have to see if the Chiefs can do what they normally do, which is hang around, hang around, hang around, and then pull it out in the end with a little help from their friends. And that is, that's the Kansas Swifty way. But that's why I say I mean, obviously, if you're the Eagles, you kind of. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but you want to blow them out. Like you want to make it so that the officials can't have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, keep the officials out of there. Keep them out of there, man. Keep them out of there. The only way to do this is just win so convincingly that they can't have any effect upon the game. Paul McCartney is at the game, or the alleged Paul McCartney. Of course, the real Paul McCartney is no longer alive. Kevin Costner looks like, and some other guy. All right, so the Eagles now have the ball, second and 14 as the second quarter starts. So all those stats and the way it looks, and they're only up by 7. So that's the thing about it. Sure, you can dominate a quarter. So they were pretty dominant all quarter, and they're up by a touchdown. You know what I mean? We dominated this quarter. Okay. Oh, how much are you up by? 7 points. One score. Yeah. Is it really dominant if you only up only up by one touchdown? We dominated them. Okay, how'd you outscore them? 7-0. Oh, that's it's not so good. But they are driving, and they're in field goal range now. Let's see if they can do third down and 10. Oh, here comes another blitz. Oh my goodness. That's the one thing you can't do, Jalen. You cannot turn it over there. You had a field goal in your pocket. See, this is the thing that Spags knows. If you pressure the hell out of these guys, they'll make a mistake. And that time it was just Bolton coming. Jurgens apparently with a missed assignment. He just kind of ran right past him. That's not good. Jurgens lotion. But Hertz freaked out and threw it up put it up in harm's way, and they picked it off. That's the other thing. If you're the Chiefs or a team, that wants to compete, you can't be dropping those. If that was the Jets, our safety would have dropped it. You know, you can't drop your ops. You can't drop your ops. You got to catch them when they throw them up to you. But that's the one thing that you really cannot do. These commercials are so stupid. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't have the sound on, so maybe the sound saves them. But it's hard to imagine these commercials being dumber. It really is. I don't even understand what they're selling half the time. There's a commercial full of sloths. What is this all about? Ah, Lord Almighty. Brady in a commercial. Must be for something shady. The PSA. Stand up to hate. Stand up to all hate. Well, shouldn't we hate evil things? Are we allowed to hate evil things? Or no? It's all hate. At some point, I think America has to stand up and say no to Peyton and Eli. I think as a country, we just have to say enough with these Mannings. Enough. It's enough. We've had enough of Eli and enough of Peyton. We've had enough. We have had enough. Really. And so after the interception, now the Chiefs will get the ball on the 2-yard line. So they do have to go 98 yards to get a score, but nonetheless, they turned them over where it looked like they had a for sure field goal. Nice tackle there by Quinyon Mitchell. Nice job, QM. Boy, what was Jurgens thinking there? He had the guy right in front of him, and he just lets him go. What was Cam Jurgens thinking? But nonetheless, what was Hurts thinking? Once the guy gets through there, you can't do that, Jalen. You can't. All right, Mahomes now in the shotgun, 2nd down and 8. And he's in the end zone, looking, jump pass over to the running back. So that's going to bring up 3rd down. Should be 3rd down and about 4 yards to go on the old jump pass. Mahomes 4 out of 7, 19 yards to start the game. That's the thing about Balkan. See, they show you the time of possession, and you say, "Wow, the Eagles are really dominating the time of possession." But they're only up by 7 points. What good is time of possession if you're not going to cash it in and go up by multiple touchdowns? It's deceiving. And Mahomes threw that one incomplete. Travis Kelsey, that was not a good pass, and they're going to have to punt now. So, well, the interception, the turnover doesn't hurt him that bad, but it did take about 3 points off the board, probably, because they were in field goal range for sure. That was just a bad, very bad pass. I don't think anybody could have caught that one. Time for the. I just think it's time for them to move on to the retirement home, wherever people go when they've had too much exposure. We've been exposed to these Mannings for decades now. I mean, how much more are we supposed to tolerate of these Mannings? I mean, we had them as players in college and then players at the NFL for decades. The two of them had very long careers. And then they had, then Peyton was on every commercial. Every commercial Peyton Manning was on. And now Eli's getting on a lot of commercials, and they have their own production company called Omaha Productions. If you didn't know that, so then they produce shows, and they're the stars of the shows a lot of the times. I mean, how much are we supposed to take of these people? Enough is enough. I mean, they're not funny. They're not even funny. I mean, all right, Matthew McConaughey. He's an actor. He's playing all these roles, and look, he's playing Peyton Manning now, of course. But all right, McConaughey, we could deal with him. All right, because he wasn't a player, right? We didn't watch him in college, and then the pros, and then every commercial. Although he's been doing a lot of commercials recently, which you really wonder about. If you're a movie star, why are you doing all these commercials for Uber Eats? You know, making movies and being a movie star and making $10 million a movie, $20 million. That's not enough. Having every woman on planet Earth fall over on their face when they look at you. That's not enough for you, Mr. McConaughey. I mean, literally, every woman on Earth finds this man attractive. That's not enough. You got to do a commercial for Uber Eats. Why? I mean, come on. Let somebody else have a job. Let somebody else get an acting job, would you? You got to take an Uber Eats job too. What's going on here? It's not enough that he's got a best-selling book that's got his face on it. He's in all these movies, and like I said, every woman on earth would basically uh, sell their own children, down the river to get a look at just to be in his presence for 5 minutes. And it's not enough. That's not enough. Not enough. No, no. He's got to do an Uber Eats commercial also. It's not enough. Not enough. Not enough for Matthew McConaughey. Nope. He got to do more. He got to do more. Yeah. There's a big problem, I think, with time of possession. Everybody who believes in ground and pound and time of possession is like, then you better score touchdowns at the end of all of your drives because you're not going to get a lot of drives. You're going to chew up all the clock. And if you don't score touchdowns, you're leaving the other team can then very quickly score, and then you're screwed. What good is time of possession if you're not cashing it in at the end of the drive? Boy, Saquon Barkley has not been able to get going in this ball game. Jojo says, "What about Arch?" What about Arch? Rodgers next to deal with, but I don't see him until 27 draft. Manning's never leave school early. Well, let's see what Arch actually, becomes. It's too early to know what Arch is all about. You know, Mackay might be injured. He's doing some stretches. He's all right. He's all right. He's a little grimacing, little grimacing. He's all right. He's all right. Even his face looks different. It looks so much slimmer. He really, you know, stepped it up this year. That's for sure. All right, now Kansas City's on the negative 41-yard line, and Hurts back to pass, throws a back shoulder to Brown. Seems like he got it, and I think he did. A.J. Brown, the reader, inner excellence. Let's see if he got it. One, yeah, he sure did. These wide receivers, they know how to do it. They know how to do the old tap, tip tap, tippity tap. Boy, they cannot get Barkley going. That's for sure. He cannot get Barkley going. But now they're at the plus 30-yard line. So again, they're in field goal range. But again, with all this time of possession, you got to put touchdowns on the scoreboard. They throw a little flare out to Barkley, gets about 4 or 5 yards. Hurts already 8 out of 10, 101 yards. And again, the Eagles are completely outplaying the Chiefs, and they're up by one score. Completely outplaying the Chiefs, up by one score. What we need is 3rd and 5. What we need here is a lightning strike. 3rd down and 5 of a touchdown type. And Foots is running the quarterback power off of the mesh. That's a nice tackle by 20, Justin Reed. I think he's a free agent we could target right there. Nice tackle by 20. Open field tackle. Hurts against his smallish safety, and he took him down. You got to give him credit. That's a nice play. And they're going for it on 4th down and 3. Surprisingly, instead of taking the points, Sirianni, this could come back to bite him. This will be a much discussed decision right here. You had the 3 points, and you decide instead to go for it. Let's see if they in fact do go for it here. 6 seconds on the play clock. They got some sort of a bunch to Hurts' left. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to take a timeout and kick a field goal. So that makes sense. Phil says Becton's barn again. Yeah, I mean, I think after all he went through with us, he went on the market and all he got was a $4 million offer, and that was the light. I will tell you, for a guy that's that talented and that big of a draft pick and young guy, and maybe wasn't as mature as he needed to be, he went on the market, and the best he could do was a $4 million deal, which for him is not what you would expect with the talent level that he's got. And so, it was sort of a make good contract. Look, you have, remake your career here. If you play well, you get a big one next time. And that's what he did. He took it seriously. He obviously got in shape, stayed healthy, no attitude problems whatsoever, moved to a different position, and look what you got. And you see his natural talent now coming through. Field goal up and good. So now they're up by 2 scores. Oh, the flag on the play. Flag on the play. The flag. Somebody broke a rule. Everybody. The rule is broken. Flag on the play. Rule broken. Rule broken. Human Resources would like to speak with you. You've broken a rule. Excuse me, fellas. You broke a rule. You're offsides. That's on the Chiefs. That'll be declined. Oh, but it gives them a first down. It will not be declined. There's the flag is still on the field. Oh, it doesn't give him the first down. Why doesn't it give him the first down? Oh, because well, why are they re-kicking then? What? I guess this was against the Eagles. Must have been. And he makes it. So I guess that penalty was against the Eagles. Looked like it was against the Chiefs. That's the only reason that would happen. So they re-kicked it and they made it. So no problem. 10-0. 10-0. 10-0. 10-0. So yeah. So what else is going on? What do you guys got going on in the chat? Philadelphia Eagles injury update. Guard tackle Mekhi Becton knee. So it's his knee again. Questionable to return. So that could be a big thing as far as this game is concerned. Uh, really going on. Everybody's just talking about the game. Tyler Steen is in for Mekhi. So they took Mekhi out, I guess. I guess. But let me know in the chat if there's any particular issues you want to talk about while this game is going on, Jets related, football related, what have you. Otherwise, we'll just keep our eye on the ball game, see what's going on with this Super Bowl. This is the final game of the 2024 NFL season, one of the most disappointing seasons in New York Jet history. We've had a lot of bad seasons. We've had a lot of bad seasons. But this has to be up there as far as disappointment is concerned because expectations were very high, and now we're going to a familiar place where expectations will be very low. One good thing, we're definitely not having any primetime games next year, so you can forget those. Those are out. We'll be playing at 1 o'clock every week, very consistent. No one is going to give one damn about your New York Jets, I tell you that much. Phil Adams says, what about free agents? All right. Well, we could go over some free agents. Let's see what's going on here. We got a lot of Eagles fans at the game. They're kicking off. We're going to have anywhere between, it looks like, 30 and 40 million dollars to spend on free agents. So we're not going to be playing in the high end. We're not going to be playing in the high end. We're also going to assume that the Rodgers thing is factual. We haven't heard from the Jets or Rodgers yet, but we're going to assume that's factual. Rodgers is gone. And we're also going to assume that Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard are gone because that saves us some cap money. And then, but then we got to obviously fill those roster holes as well. So I'm going to make those assumptions that the three amigos are gone. And so we'll take a look at some of the free agents that we might be able to acquire. So NYC Sports says, "What do you think of the new kickoff?" Yeah, the NFL seems to like it. They said that there were more returns, there were less injuries, there were more returns made than before, which was their goal. The goal was to keep injuries down while increasing the number of returns, and they said that that happened in sufficient numbers. As Mahomes gets sacked by Sweat, I believe, and the boys. Um, So the Chiefs have not looked good in this game at all. Mahomes is 5 out of 9 for 24 yards, 5 completions for 24 yards. That is terrible. Terrible. So they've been pressuring him. They've been getting him off his spot, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's second down and 14. There's 7:59 left. The Chiefs are down 10 to or 0 to 10, I guess you'd say. And here's another sack. And they're just getting home with 4, it seems like. Hunt, I don't even know who that is. Sweat, of course. Fun. This Philly team is loaded. You got to really give it to Howie Roseman, don't you? Yeah, they just rushed 4 there and they got home. It's exactly what you want. That's exactly what we want out of our defense. But of course, we hollowed out the defensive line. So the NFL seems to think that it was a success. Uh, I still think it does look a little strange, but it's fine, I guess. Definitely don't want anybody getting hurt. Oh, when there's a pickoff, Cooper DeJean, what was Mahomes thinking? That's not a guy you want to throw to either because he's got return skills and he takes it all the way back for a score. Cooper DeJean, Dijon mustard with the Coopster. That's got a little Dijon mustard on it for a Super Bowl hot dog. What was Mahomes thinking here? They flushed him out to the right, and they threw it to the Dijon man, but didn't put enough mustard on it. That's a little. They flushed him out to the right, and he just didn't see the defender in the area. That's very strange. And of course, DeJean has great ball skills. He's a very well versed at returning kicks and so forth, punts and so forth. So very good ball skills and avoiding tackler skills, you could say. And extra point up and good. So Philly goes up now 17-0. They thoroughly have dominated, and due to this turnover now, they have the score to reflect their dominance of this ball game. They've sacked Mahomes. They've intercepted Mahomes. And so that's exciting. Jojo says lots of low-end free agents. Right, exactly, Jojo. That's what I was beginning to say. We're not going to be wading in the waters of the high-end free agents. We can't do that. We have too many holes to fill. So it's going to be mid-level guys and lower level. You might be surprised to find out that I did a spreadsheet. I started to do a spreadsheet, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 free agents that we could sign for $45 million. Now we probably can't spend $45 million. We still have some money to free up, and you have to have enough to sign your draft class as well. That doesn't take the draft class into account. But what if we got and the most expensive guy on the whole list was re-signing Tyler Conklin. So in my thing, we re-signed Tyler Conklin, we re-signed Morgan Moses, and we re-signed Jamian Sherwood. The most expensive guy on the whole list is Conklin. Now I use SpotTrack. SpotTrack has their projected, market value. So I was using that as a guide. So using SpotTrack as a guide, I came up with we need 2 wide receivers to replace Devontae and Lazard. So what if we picked up Demarcus Robinson for $4 million and De'Ami Brown for $3 million? We still need a couple of tight ends. So I had Tyler Conklin being re-signed for $10 million, and then Mo Alley Cox from the Colts for $2.5 million. That's our blocking tight end. Then we re-signed Morgan Moses for $2.25 million. We get a safety, Jeremy Chin, for $6.67 million. We get 2 defensive tackles, Adam Butler for $3 million, Tedarrell Slayton for $3.5 million. Then we re-signed Jamian Sherwood for $7.5 million. That's a little bit above market value. And then I have in the quarterback column, I have Jarrett Stidham, but that's obviously going to be the biggest question of the offseason. If we went after a quarterback like Jarrett Stidham, it would only cost us about $2.6 million. So those are that could be like a free agent class right there. Obviously, the one that's questionable is the quarterback. Like, do we go after a Justin Fields? Does he break loose of Pittsburgh, or does Pittsburgh hold on to him? If he's a free agent, we would obviously be interested, and he would cost more than the 2.6. SpotTrack has him at about 6.5 or so. So we probably got to pay 7. We do have to pay above market value because of the tax situation in New Jersey, and also just to come to our team. which hasn't won in 15 years. You know, you got to pay people a little extra for that. All of that, all those players would cost us about 45 million. So it's a little rich at the moment. We need to free up more cash, and maybe it means we don't bring back a Conklin, and that gets us 35, gets us to 35 or so. Something like that. But that's the type of free agent class we could have, and then we would fill that. That fills up your wide receiver room, fills up your tight end room. Moses comes back as your swing tackle. You get one safety here. You're obviously going to have to draft one, and then sign a couple of guys at a million each. Low level guys to be the backups. And again, you got to hope you don't get hurt because we're not going to have very good depth on this team. We're just not. There's going to be a bunch of $1 million guys as your depth guys, and those guys typically aren't very good. So hopefully they don't have to play much except maybe on special teams. And Kansas City now 6:19 left in the second quarter. As the clock continues to move, Mahomes 5 out of 10, 24 yards, one interception. That is a terrible game so far. So far, Mahomes having a terrible Super Bowl. This is not what the NFL had envisioned for this ball game for their darlings, the Kansas Swifty Chiefs. 11 personnel now. They're going with a trips bunch right to Mahomes' right, and now they shift Smith-Schuster out toward the numbers. Mahomes now looking again, is getting pressured once again. Boy, this pressure by the Eagles, this is exactly, as you watch this is exactly what we want to do with our friggin' defense. And it just so happens the Eagles have much better players than we do. And they took one of our players and they made him inactive. But this kind of pressure, Nolan Smith, William, this guy Sweat's in there. They're all in there. And also the coverage is also contributing to that. So they finally got their back end coverage guys all fixed with DeJean and Quinion Mitchell and Big Play Slay and all the people they got back there. And that helps your pass rush, and it goes hand in hand. Rush and coverage go hand in hand. And DeJean also fielding punts for the Eagles. So that was a good draft pick, Cooper DeJean, and also Quinion Mitchell. Man, they had some good draft picks. Yeah, Mahomes is not looking good, and this is not good for the NFL. The NFL does not want Patrick Mahomes to crap the bed on the Super Bowl. That's the last thing they want. So this has been a very interesting game. We'll have to see what adjustments they make at halftime. But this is not going the way they want so far. Mahomes spending a lot of time on her back. Yeah, no bueno. No bueno. Yeah, they sure did. And it's interesting because Howie Roseman missed on a lot of wide receivers early on. And a lot of people were giving Howie Roseman a lot of grief for that, and also early on for the Jalen Hurts pick. After year two, a lot of the Eagles fans did not want to move forward with Jalen Hurts. They thought he couldn't do it. Well, they were wrong. But, it took a little while for some of those things to manifest. Obviously, the great trade they made for A.J. Brown really helped. And the stupid trade that Tennessee made, still don't quite understand why they made that. I guess it's a money decision, but somehow the Eagles could afford it, but the Titans can't. I mean, explain that to me. I mean, you got A.J. Brown, you got Jalen Hurts, you got all these people on Philadelphia who make good money, big play Slay, uh, so forth and so on. But Tennessee couldn't afford A.J. Brown, but somehow the Eagles could afford him. So that sort of broke the schneid for Roseman, and then he drafted Devontae Smith, and then you had you had the two of them together, and off they went, and then they added, of course, Barkley this year in the offseason, another big free agent signing, so they can afford all these people. Zach Rosenblatt with a tweet: Remember, Dolphins players ran Vic Fangio out of town because he coached them too hard. Yeah, and what's his name was the loudest of them all. Um, Jalen, um, their cornerback number 5, and that guy's never happy ever with any coaching, apparently. But you know, yeah, Vic Fangio is a big reason. You'd have to think. Well, Vic Fangio. I mean, the players. You could talk about Vic Fangio all you want, but these players are the ones rushing. These they have really good defensive linemen, and they're rushing for and winning. I mean, that's the whole theory. The whole theory behind our defense, and you need to have really good defensive linemen. There goes Barkley a little bit. So the Eagles are up 17-0, and Barkley hasn't even gotten going really yet. Um, but credit Fangio all you want. It's really about these defensive linemen. Well, and the back end, covering. But I mean, they really spent the resources over the years on these defensive players. I think they finally got the back end to be good enough with DeJean and Mitchell. They struggled with that a long time. And big play Slay says he's going to play one more year. So Mekhi Becton's back in the game. I don't know what some people were saying he was out. He's actually back in the game. Um, but yeah, I mean, and Slay's going to play one more season next year, and then he's going to retire. He said, and we'll see. We'll see if they can keep this up. We'll see if they can re-sign Becton. We'll see how much of this team they can really keep together. Flag on the Eagles. Holding. Got a hold of the shoulder pad. They'll call that every time. Shoulder pad jersey combo. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, 9 out of 11, 104 yards, 1 interception. That was a bad interception, but not doesn't seem like it's going to hurt him very much. Hurts now looking. Run, Jalen, run. Jeez. His inner timing was off there. So now, really, they should just run down this clock and just Kellen Moore looking for a 25-yard play. I don't think he's got it on his play sheet. Kellen Moore, the paper boy, a.k.a. the paper boy. He's going to be the New Orleans Saints coach after this game. Head coach, that is. But 2 minutes and 31 as the clock ticks down. Hurts looking to hit Barkley. Something was off there. They were trying to do a screen. Something was way off, and now there's a flag. There's a lot of confusion on the part of the Philadelphia players, and a flag came in late, so not sure what happened there. Personal foul on the Chiefs for something. Personal foul. Oh, late hit. Meh. It was pretty late, but Bags is not happy. Bags is not happy. Well, don't hit him then. I mean, the ball, does you no good to hit him. The play's over. The hitting time is ended. Hitting time is over. So far in this game, so Gainwell now, going for about a yard. It could be that they're setting the Chiefs up for a comeback for next year or in the second half. Maybe they want the story to be Well, they didn't quite get the three-peat, but now they're going to be really mad about it next year. They're going to be super motivated. They're only somewhat motivated this year, but next year they're going to be super motivated. Going to be absolutely you. I mean, you thought you had seen motivation. Wait until you see these people next year. Oh my goodness, they're going to be so super motivated. It's not even funny. Uh, so maybe they're just setting up that sort of narrative. You never know. NYC says, seems like the great cornerbacks from yesteryear had longer peaks than current top cornerbacks. Wonder if that has to do with more speed receivers in the game today. Well, the first thing you would need to do, NYC Sport, if you had this theory, so this is like a good theory, right? Or you might call it a hypothesis. What you then need to do is quantify it. Find you the great cornerbacks from yesteryear, all of them, and then figure out what a peak is, and then figure out how to quantify that peak, and then compare it to all the top cornerbacks from today, such as, McDuffie and Sertan and Gardner and all, and then see if it's true. You think it's true, but is it true? That's something you could actually quantify. And so this is like a good hypothesis thought, and then you would go, and this is where data comes in. You would go and use the data to tell you if it's actually true or not. And then you would say, my hypothesis has been proven true or false or whatever. And then based on that, you would then want to take it to the next step and figure out, okay, why? And for that, you would probably want to then go to the tape, right? Then you would want to go look at the all 22 footage and do a comparison and somehow figure out, okay, this is how we're going to test out, this data that we see. The data is telling us whatever it tells you, true or false. And then we're going to look at the tape to figure out the why is this true and why is it false. Boy, this commercial's stupid. Like, how dumb can these commercials get? It's almost like every year they get dumber and dumber. Like, really? I wish, I just kind of wish we didn't have to sit here. And the other thing is like it's weird because they make a big thing out of the commercials. Like we're, OMG, these commercials on the Super Bowl, 30-second Super Bowl ad costs like $8 million. And this is what these people come up with. There's these big ad agencies that make all kinds of money. And this is what they come up with. A remake of When Harry Met Sally with these two old farts. Like nobody cares about Billy Crystal and this other one. Like no one cares about this anymore. It's ridiculous. She's having an orgasm over mayonnaise. It's not funny anymore. It's not. What's wrong with these ad agencies? They have to pay all this money to get an ad going, and the creative is so stupid. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. I mean, really. Flying mustaches. This will make me buy more potato chips. All these flying mustaches will make me buy more potato chips somehow. Yeah, sure. Yeah. First thing I think about when I want some potato chips is what about the mustaches? Crazy. Oh, Meg, what's her name? Meg Ryan? What was her best role? Meg Ryan's best role. Put what you think Meg Ryan's best role her whole life is. Meg Ryan's best role was, you probably don't even remember, the original Top Gun. She was in Top Gun. Do you realize that? A young Meg Ryan was in Top Gun, the original Top Gun, the first one. That was her best role. She played Goose's wife. All right, so Jalen Hurts now, 2 minutes left, 3rd and 3. Can they convert? Here comes the famous Spag blitz and incomplete. Yeah, miscommunication there with Brown and Hurts. But Hurts probably should have gone to his safety valve. There's only 3 yards to go. He tried to beat him with a back shoulder fade down the left sideline, and yeah, Sleepless in Seattle. No, not for me. I mean, she was fine in that, but for me, is when she was young and wild, playing Goose's wife in Top Gun. So now they got a punt. All right. See, so this is something going on with some movement here, back and forth. And if they jump off sides, which they didn't, I guess. Flag. Well, it's good to know that Meg Ryan's still alive. I mean, who the hell knew that? It's very surprising. Gabe Brown seems to be upset about something. Isn't he always? Mr. 1K always open. He's always open. Braden Mann with the punt. Look at that former Jet. We set him up for success with the punting. Boy, he would shank some with us, wouldn't he? He was the king of the shanks. He was the shankster, I think. Well, we'll see if Mahomes. So that was a lost opportunity there because you really could have separated yourself. You could have kept Mahomes off the field. Uh, and there's Taylor Swift. So I think that's the first time they showed her, maybe the second. But she's not in a box. Doesn't look like she's in a box this game. But he's going to have to take it down 96 yards or so, 94 yards. As they're at their own negative 6 yard line. Mahomes back to pass. He's hit as he throws, and it's another pick. No way. Did he catch it? Did he catch it? Did he catch it? Did he catch it? Boy, Kermit McFloppy's having maybe his worst game of his career. Did he really catch it? Zach Bond's just standing there, and he throws it right to him. Let's see. Oh, that's a catch. I think that's a catch, Mr. McFloppy. But Josh Sweat put on the pressure. That probably caused it. Rush and coverage. We're seeing it in live time, ladies and gentlemen. Rush and coverage. They go together like a peanut butter and jelly. Rush and coverage. I mean, you're seeing it perfect. I mean, is this really Vic Fangio, though? I mean, the guy's standing there. Josh Sweat does a bull rush, takes the guy into his lap, and makes him throw a bad pass. I mean, it's not Vic Fangio. That's just having really good players who know how to play this football game. Now let's see if they can take advantage of it. They're already in field goal range. They really need to punch in a touchdown here. You got to really keep your foot on the gas if you're Sirianni and the Eagles. And they're going to pass the ball. No, they're going to run it quarterback power. Oh, that didn't go anywhere. I mean, they really don't. They haven't been featuring Barkley as much. He hasn't had too many big runs, or if any. Now Sweat beats Tooney, who's a former guard playing tackle, and that was the problem there. You got Tooney playing tackle because your other tackle stunk so much that you had to put Tooney there. But that really is what caused that. Rush and coverage, man. Go together like peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly. Zach Bond, the former special teams player, now a star linebacker. If I was Philly, I would keep running the ball. So of course they pass it, and looks to his left. He's got a man. It's AJ, and he's in there. Now, only problem, he left too much time, but still, you take the touchdown. 24 points looks like it's going to be. Guy doing a dance. Gotta love it. Good job, Mackay. Good job on the dancing, Mackay. Always good to see a dancing bear out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So Philadelphia is about to go up 24 to nothing. 24 to Zippo. They're getting thoroughly outplayed. Kermit McFloppy is having one of the worst games of his life, but he will have one more drive before the end of the half. There's a minute 35 left. The only thing you could criticize about that drive there, too much time left on the clock, but can't worry about that when you can score a touchdown. If you get too cute, maybe you don't get the touchdown. So you take the touchdown. Minute 35. I think they have one timeout left. So we'll have to see about that. Oh, not really too many insightful comments from our beat writers, as you would expect. Bunch of dopes that they are. Mhm. Well, one thing that's good about this game, as soon as it's over, immediately we move into the official off season of the NFL, and free agent speculation can begin in earnest. That's for sure. That's for sure. But I think I'll continue to work on my model for free agency. So basically, we're going to need at least two wide receivers. We're going to need two tight ends, but we may have to draft one. The guy I really want is Miley Cox because he's going to cost us about $2.5 million, and he can block. We should re-sign Morgan Moses. Maybe we can't sign Jeremy Chin for 6-7 million. Two defensive tackles, Butler and Slayton, and then retaining Sherwood, and then we got to figure out if we're going to sign a Jared Stidham. So Stidham at quarterback is likely only because the Muji connection over there, uh, in Denver. So yeah, there's the combine in a few weeks. I couldn't care less about the combine, to be honest with you. Holmes now running around. There's a flag on the play, probably holding. Combine's good because you get some good measurements. We're going to see how long exactly, for example, Will Campbell's arms are. That's going to actually be important to us. Uh, All right, 127 now remaining in the game. Kansas City has the ball at the negative 20-yard line. Mahomes in the shotgun. They're rushing. Oh, they try to go for a screen. That did not work. And another flag on the play. Somebody broke the rules, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody broke the rules. And it's on the Chiefs. Wow, I'm surprised. Oh, yeah, I remember this, JoJo. I remember this well. I used to have all my snacks ready. I'd put my snacks in the fridge. Like I don't know why I did that. Put all my snacks, like the chips and the popcorn, put it in the fridge. Keep it nice and cold. I don't know why I did that. Got to keep your snacks cold, I guess. On that clock ticking, they got one. They do have one timeout. Mahomes 5 out of 12, 24 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Obviously, they have no points. Clock is ticking. They don't seem to be in much of a hurry for some reason. They're wasting a lot of time on the clock. What are they doing? They let a lot of seconds click off here, and it's 3rd and 11. And now they're audibling. I mean, time is ticking. What are they doing? I guess they think they got all the time in the world. They're only rushing 4, and they flush him out of the pocket, and he's able to find a receiver wide open who drops the pass. What is going on around here? That was DeAndre Hopkins, or should I say DeAndre Dropkins? He's wide open here. The pass is seems like he should have had it. A little bit off target, but not sure what was going on right there. And they are going to punt. Wow. This game is going to looks like going to the half 24-0. Wow. Combine is good for free agency. Oh yeah, that's right. So all the people get together down there, all of the front office people. So then you have all the media people there. It's another one of these you know, orgies of information where you have the media people and you have all of the people from the teams. So obviously, all the media people are trying to get information out of people. They're hitting their contacts up. What are you talking about? What are they talking about? What's going on? What's really happening around here? And so it's one of those situations where everybody's in one spot. So, you know, may get some more information then. But, you know, I guess we're going into the part of the season that is kind of like a bittersweet thing because there's no more games, but of course, for the Jets, the offseason is our Super Bowl because, the regular season, the season is our nightmare, usually, at least since 2012. So, now this is the best time of year because every Sunday that comes, we can't possibly lose. Cannot possibly lose. You cannot lose if you do not play. That is very true. So now we're going to go to halftime. Halftime it is. I'll see if I can listen to the music, to the halftime music show or not. And if you guys can hear it, then that's going to be bad. But first, we'll take a little bio break and we'll turn on a little music from the old Frankie. Let's play a little music. Play a little music from the vault. It's odd as I can't hear that, but hopefully you guys can hear that, and I'll be back in a second.
The Brooklyn line got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to stoop. Hustle and dreams in every loop. In the park he struts, hits the handball wall. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a comforting grin on the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway hum, the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill, Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go.
See, any other music? What other music can we play on K Frank? You've heard of K Rock before, but what about K Frank? How about this song?
It's 69 won it all. That's ancient history now. 50 years awaiting, fans are wondering how. Joe Namath made a promise, delivered us a ring. But since that magic moment, we can't seem to do a thing. Oh, Gang Green, why you break my heart? Each season's a fresh start. We say this year is different, but fall apart. Rough bus and broken quarterbacks, a never-ending tale. Mark Sanchez hit a lineman's rear, our team became a fail. The butt fumble lives forever, in infamy we dwell. When things look bright and hopeful, that's when our team falls and fails. Oh, Gang Green, why do you break my heart? Each season's a fresh start. We say this year is different, but fall apart. Oh, Gang Green, why do you break my heart? Each season's a fresh start. We say this year is different, but fall apart. Patriots own our division, 2 decades of dismay. While Brady ruled New England, we just faded away. We build our hopes up every spring, when schedules first appear. By October we're all saying maybe next year. Jets, 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 Jets. What Here we stand still cheering, though logic says we're wrong. Our loyalty's unbreakable, though suffering's lifelong. Some call it mass delusion, this faith that never dies. But we're New York Jets, faithful till we make it back to high. Oh, Gang Green, why do we still believe? 'Cause hope springs eternal, for the team that makes us grieve.
Green Blues, everybody. Do you know at one point in time I was going to be a radio DJ? Did you know that? And then I thought I'll just start my own radio station. It's pretty hard to start a radio station. Big Green, you can get that song on this channel for sure. I've got it on here somewhere. Let's see. Let's see if we got, what else do we have for music around here? How about a little Das Frog? How about a little Das Frog? How about this one?
rusty Q. Know you're just a student, so go back to school. I ain't never taking anything from you. I ain't never taking anything from you.
Now I guess we're gonna watch the halftime show, but if I turn on this, tell me if you guys can hear this. Tell me if you guys can hear this in the chat. Oh, probably not. Well, I can't even hear it. All right, so we'll just have to keep the sound off, which is weird. Kind of want to listen to Kendrick, but go and see some comments. Oh, look, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson. Hip hop is really pop culture. Hip hop is the popular music. Oh, that's interesting. In America, the two most popular formats for radio stations are country and hip hop, and I think country's still number one, and then hip hop's number two now. So hip hop is really just mainstream popular culture. This here is like this is art. This is artistic expression right here. This is just art. I don't know if it's good art or bad art, but it's definitely artistic. This is a long show. You wonder how long this is going to go on for. And is it going to have any kind of effect on the players? We'd like to get back to playing a football game, not during the Super Bowl. It's amazing that this started out with such humble beginnings. The old halftime shows at the Super Bowl were nothing like this back in the day. Day. This is one huge production. Phil says in the 80s, house music was underground. Now it's mainstreamed and turned into this. Everybody has their own time. Yeah, yep. Well, hip hop really started I think, in New York. And when it came in, it was not just a music. It was also a dance thing. It was called break dancing. So it was a new type of music, a new type of dance, and it also had like sneaker culture involved and all sorts of fashion things. It was like a whole movement, and there used to be people in Brooklyn and all over New York City who would break dance with a cardboard box. So they would walk around with a cardboard box that was, flattened out, and they would put that on the concrete, and then they would do break dancing on the cardboard box. And it was kind of weird because you're a kid, all of a sudden this is happening, and then your friends are getting into it, and this and that. And it's like, where's this coming from? Uh, but people were doing it, and it was an exciting time. It was a hip hop. It was a break dancing. Uh, high top sneakers and everything else. It was an exciting time to be alive. I tell you that much. It's a very exciting time to be alive. Nothing beats a good break dancing routine on a cardboard box in a PS207 schoolyard. I mean, come on, what could beat that for entertainment? For entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let me get rid of this. What's up here? In case people want to. Fubu. Yeah, Fubu was one of the ones uh, that came with that. And it's like, it was this whole thing. It was fashion, it was dancing, it was music, everything was brand new. It was amazing. This is the exciting time to be alive. Yeah. I mean, anytime you're alive, it's exciting. So anytime to be alive is way more exciting than being dead. That's for sure. If you're dead, it's all over. It's not very exciting, therefore. This looks like a very exciting show. I don't know who the rest of these people are other than Kendrick Lamar. Who this guy with the football is, I don't know who that is. You got all these dancers, but like, usually you're going to have some special guest rappers to help you out. You know, somebody to come on stage. Maybe you know who they are. Maybe you don't. Kendrick seems like he's doing a lot of this by himself, and then he's got all these dancers dancing, and people seem to be having a good time. Seem to be having a good time. Taylor Swift. You wonder if they would get Taylor Swift for a halftime show at some point, like next year. Game over. Like would Swift do what about Taylor Swift next year for a halftime show? What if the plot line is like something like this? Okay, the Chiefs lose tonight's game, let's say, miracle of miracles, and then at some point next year, Travis and Taylor break up, but then you hear that Taylor Swift is going to perform at the Super Bowl. Yeah. What if that's what they're setting up? Something like that. That could be a plot line they're setting up. The comeback. The comeback. Merkovich is here. Muppet Mahomes turned into Zachary Wilson. Well, it's not over yet, but yeah, he looked like total garbage in that first half. That's for sure. Kermit McFloppy. You take away the flopping, maybe that affected the rest of his game. He said, "No more flopping for you," and turned him around. Let's see how people are reacting to this halftime show. Doesn't seem to be much comments that I can see. Folks, people are not really reacting to the halftime show as far as I can see on X. So I don't know how that was really taken. Oh yeah, I don't think too many people like the halftime show. They're not usually when it's really good. Now, the thing about it is that the greatest halftime show of all time was, of course, Prince, and they took that away from us. You know what I mean? When Abraham is here, this game isn't going how I thought it would, he says. Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat, Harlan. But, what was the greatest halftime show of all time? It was Prince. I've been watching some old Prince clips and things that they've been putting out. They took Prince away from us. They took Michael Jackson away from us, and they replaced them with these hacks like Taylor Swift, these barely talented people. I The talent that somebody like Prince had was just off the charts. Like it's almost like some sort of uber human musically. They did these interviews with his recording engineer, and she would talk about like his work ethic was just uh, she no one's ever seen anything like it. They said he could record an album, do a whole write, perform, and record an entire album of new music in a week. 1 week. I mean, most artists can't do one song in a week, own a whole album of like amazing songs. I mean, and they took him away from us. They took Michael Jackson. They turned Michael Jackson into a weirdo, and then they took him away from us. All because he wanted to control his catalog. I mean, geez, and they replace him with these midwits like Taylor Swift and Lana Del Rey or whatever. They take away the geniuses and they give you the midwits. They take away Bill Hicks and they give you Bert Kreischer. You see? They take away the true geniuses and they give you the midwit people that that aren't gonna shake things up too much, aren't gonna really challenge you too much. You know, tell you something Prince said. He was doing a performance of Purple Rain. He goes to the microphone and he goes, "All right, um, tell me how many birthdays have you had in your life?" So in the chat, tell me how many birthdays have you had in your life? How many birthdays have you had in your life? Let me know in the chat. How many? How many números de birthdays have you had? Yeah, one of the greatest live performers of all time, and had the best halftime show. I mean, he performed Purple Rain in the rain. I mean, true genius, like a true genius. They took him away from us. So annoying. Bill says nearly 65. Well, I got to tell you, Big Green says 35 birthdays. Well, I got to tell you guys, you're incorrect. You're incorrect. I regret to inform you that you're incorrect because you really only have had one birthday, and that was the day that you were born. And like Prince would have these concerts at his house, at his compound, Paisley Park. And he did one where he was performing Purple Rain, and he comes to the microphone. He starts talking about birthdays. I was like, "What is going on?" And he goes, and he basically said what I said, like, "How many birthdays have you had?" And somebody in the crowd, says 35, like Big Green says, and he goes, "No, you've only had one. You've only had one birthday. All, there's only one day that you were born." And he went on this whole rant about birthdays. And then he starts singing Purple Rain. That's the type of genius we need around here. What we don't need are these mid-wits like Taylor Swift and these other people. We need the true geniuses. We need to get them back. We need to get them back because we're missing them. We're missing them. You can have all the Aaron Andrewses you want. They'll give you Aaron Andrews all day long. But Prince, no, you can't have him. Michael Jackson, no, you can't have him. Bill Hicks, no, you can't have him. But you could have Bert Kreischer all day long. You could have Bert Kreischer for 1,000 years. You can have Carrot Top until the year 5 fucking thousand. But you can't have Bill Hicks for more than 35 years. Nope, no way. Can't have it. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. These people are too much of a genius. We're not going to let you have these geniuses. Crazy. Then you might start to think that you can have original ideas of your own. We can't have that. we we certainly cannot have that. If you are exposed to geniuses for too long, you might start to think that you yourself might have some original ideas and original thoughts other than, gee, maybe I should order some food right now. You know, can't have that, can we? Yeah, I would agree, Jojo. I mean, if you look into Taylor Swift, I mean, her whole thing is made up. Her whole life is manufactured. She started out as a country artist. She's from Pennsylvania, first of all. She goes down to Nashville and she starts out as she does albums as a country artist with a fake accent, singing in a fake accent. This is how manufactured Taylor Swift is. And then she moves over to pop music and nobody says anything. Nobody's like, "Well, that's weird. We thought you were a country artist with a country accent that was made up and phony and fugazi because you're from frickin' Pennsylvania." And nobody cares. Nobody says anything. Nobody cares. There's too much money on that side. I mean, and then there's stories about her father, who's a rich Wall Street guy, by the way. Uh, buying pallets and pallets of her CDs, so that they could get on the charts. I mean, the whole thing is a fugaz. if you think about it. I mean, think about the Beastie Boys. Remember the Beastie Boys? I'm telling all of y'all, it's a sabotage. I'm telling all of y'all, it's what is a sabotage? I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'm gonna set straight this Watergate. What Watergate? What were they trying to tell us? What were the Beastie Boys trying to tell us? What Watergate were they trying to set straight? Exactly. Telling all y'all it's a sabotage. All right, Patrick Mahomes now has the ball. They're down by 24 points in the third quarter. These stupid graphics are still annoying me. He throws it out to Xavier Worthy, who is very fast, and he runs and gets a first down, I believe. Yeah, really. I mean, yeah. I mean, as soon as John Lennon, got off the drugs, they had to kill him. You know, yeah, they basically tried to keep him drugged up in some sort of a drug den with his wife. And as soon as he sobered up, they killed him real quick. Tell you that much, because he might start talking. Oh, but Paul McCartney, you could have him till age 200 because he's a big dummy. But John Lennon, who might actually tell you something informative, he got to go. You know what I mean? He got to go. John Lennon, no, you can't have him. But Paul McCartney, the midwit, you could have him, until he's 200 years old. Why didn't Paul McCartney, if he's such a great songwriter, why didn't he have hit songs after the Beatles broke up? Really, how many hit songs did did McCartney have as a solo artist, as opposed to John Lennon? John Lennon was only alive 10 years after the Beatles broke up. Beatles broke up in 70. John Lennon died in 1980. He had all kinds of hit songs afterward, and he was on drugs for a lot of that time, heroin and marijuana and a bunch of other stuff. Paul McCartney has lived since then, still alive, allegedly. How many hit songs has Paul McCartney had since 1970? One, two, three, four. Why is that? Nobody asks these questions, but they should be asked and answered. Third down and 17 now for Mahomes as he drops back, looking, can't find anyone. That's a hold on 62. They don't call it. And Sweat is not able to track down Mahomes, who's still running and now gets tackled. That won't be enough for a first down, so they'll have to punt the ball away. But it was a holding on 62 that didn't get called there. But nonetheless, Mahomes was not able to scramble for a first down, so they'll have to punt it away. Yeah, man. I mean, it's so true. They give you they take away the geniuses and they replace them with midwits, man. It's so annoying. So sad and annoying. It also tells you whatever geniuses there are in the world now, you better appreciate them because they're not going to last. They're not going to last. See, Tom Brady is happy Mahomes is losing, and a lot of these things are funded by these shadowy organizations like USAID or one of the other millions of NGOs and foundations and you name it. And there's thousands of these things. Yep. Hope your sister-in-law is okay, Harlan. Got to keep everybody healthy and happy. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, all Michael Jackson wanted to do was own his catalog, and you know, they were never not going to let him live. Once he started, it's fine to be rich and famous, but as soon as you start wanting ownership, that's when they come after you. As soon as you want ownership of your own material, that's when they come after you. You know, craziness. Well, let me ask you this: you guys ever heard a song called "Sweet Home Alabama"? Put in the comments if you ever heard a song called "Sweet Home Alabama." Let me know if you heard that song. "Sweet Home Alabama." Let me know if you've ever heard that song. Put a yes in the chat. Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner. Skinner. Yep. Well, you probably heard the lyric at Muscle Shoals, they got the Swampers. At Muscle Shoals, they got the Swampers, and they've been known to pick a song or two. Yes, they do. But you've probably heard that lyric about a million times. At Muscle Shoals, they got the Swampers, and they've been known to pick a song or two. Yes, they do. Now, did you ever stop and ask yourself, who are the Swampers? Why, who are the Swampers? And what is Muscle Shoals? And why is Leonard Skinner singing about them? What is going on here? What were they trying to tell us? At Muscle Shoals, they got the Swampers, and they've been known to pick a song or two. To pick a song or two. Yes, they do. And so Muscle Shoals is the recording studio, but who are the Swampers? And why have they been known to pick a song or two? And why does Leonard Skinner feel the need to sing about them in a song about Sweet Home Alabama? These are questions that need to be looked into and investigated very carefully, because once you do start investigating it very carefully, you may have a very different idea and thought and conception about how music is actually made in this crazy world of ours. And Muscle Shoals was a place where that other British band called the Rolling Stones, Phil Adams is from England, of course, and so you may appreciate understanding that the Rolling Stones recorded a few songs at Muscle Shoals as well, the famous recording studio. And it's said that, in fact, the song Wild Horses, have you heard of that one? Wild Horses Couldn't Keep Me Away by the Rolling Stones. You ever hear of them? Well, they say that, um, what's his name? The guitarist for the Rolling Stones, what's his name? The one who does drugs but never dies. Um, they say he went into the bathroom and came up with that song in the bathroom, and they were able to write all the lyrics, all the musical parts, arrange it, compose it, and record it at Muscle Shoals within one day. Any chance that's true? Any, any chance that that's true? But this is what they say happened. Is there any chance that that's true? Because at Muscle Shoals, they got the Swampers, and they've been known to pick a song or two. Pick a song or two. Yes, they do. Yeah, they did, but that was bullsh. Now they did love so all of these groups that came out of the like like the mid to late 50s, they started to get formed, like the Beatles and the Stones. They all loved the American blues guys like Muddy Waters and such. They all loved them. They were fascinated with it. And then because music before then didn't have a beat. It didn't have a backbeat. Remember the whole thing about the Mersey beat? Where's Mersey, Phil? Right? There was a big thing about Mersey. That Mersey beat. It was the backbeat of rock and roll. Because that didn't exist in the big band era. Because music before then was mostly big band, right? There's other forms of music, but the most popular was like big band that you'd hear on the radio and so forth. And then came this crazy rock and roll stuff with the Mersey beat in England, it was called, and it had a backbeat, meaning a drummer beating on the drums. And then you combine that with the blues of those groups like Muddy Waters and all the great blues artists. and you really get rock and roll. That's really where rock and roll is born. Although the word rock and roll was created by someone named Alan Freed, who was a DJ. If you really want to know about music history, read about Alan Freed. That dude, that dude's a fascinating guy in rock and roll history, and he actually created the word, the phrase rock and roll. And he was a DJ on the radio back in the day. River in Liverpool. So it was in Liverpool. So of course the Beatles, for those who don't know, were from Liverpool. They were known as Liverpudlians, and so Mersey. So this is the Mersey beat. So this came right out of their backyard. So they were, a product of their environment, I guess you could say. Lots of people were getting attracted to this new kind of music called rock and roll, with a backbeat and guitars and so forth and so on. Spagnolo not looking so hot in this game. 24 points, and the Eagles just carving him up. Although, again, when you really have it, I mean, the Eagles just have all the weapons. You have Barkley for the running game. You have Hurts as a passer with Brown and the Slim Reaper and Dotson as the third receiver. But then also Hurts can also run, obviously, and you got the tush push as well. I mean, you really got everything you need there. Ooh, hell of a catch by Barkley. So this game is looking like a blowout. Earl Jones 4x4 drum beat backbeat to all British R&B. Yeah, but these studio musicians were a lot more important than people realize, and that's what I was getting at with the Swampers. So the Swampers were the house band of Muscle Shoals, and a lot of people think that the Swampers, who were just a bunch of local musicians who were just like awesome studio musicians, were really the people who played, for example, Wild Horses. Of course, Mick Jagger sings on it, but the music behind it, and a lot of the music that you think was recorded by these artists was actually recorded by studio musicians, because it was a lot more efficient to do that, because the studio musicians were like the consummate professionals who could get a song down like in a day, and this is when studio time was very expensive. They could get a song down in a day, whereas the musicians, whoever they were, the artists, they were good at performing, they were good at singing. They weren't necessarily the best technical musicians, so it might take them a lot longer to get what you needed. Whereas you could go to these professionals, tell them what you want, and they just record it and get it for you, and then you just put the vocals on top of it. And I think a lot of people would be surprised by that, especially with groups that are beloved, like the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, for example. The Beatles are a prime example of this. Like, people say, it's been said by credible sources that for all of the Beatles songs that were recorded in a studio, there were, I think, 5 drummers on all those songs, and none of those drummers were Ringo Starr. I think a lot of music fans would be surprised by that, and I believe that. I believe that. The Motown, the Motown was different, although similar. So Motown was kind of similar in the fact that, except it was kind of more honest. Like Motown, Barry Gordy and Smokey Robinson, I believe, started Motown Records, and that was in Detroit. And um, Motortown, that was in Detroit, and they had a stable of songwriters and performers, and a lot of the songwriters were Smokey Robinson, Barry Gordy himself. Um, who could play, and they had singers and backup singers and composers and musicians. So it was kind of similar up in Motown Records in Detroit as to Muscle Shoals. There were a few of these places around in America. There was another place, I think, in Los Angeles. in the early days, and they were just sort of like hit making factories, and they would Aretha Franklin would show up, for example, and it would be like, all right, how do we create a hit song for this amazing singer, right? And like Stevie Wonder showed up one time at Motown when he was a kid, Motown Records, blind kid, and he could play every instrument better than they'd ever heard. And he's like a 12-year-old kid, right? He started out on the drums and he got on the harmonica. Another phenomenal talent, Stevie Wonder. And so, this was common practice. This was common practice, and it was because studio time was so expensive. Why are you going to waste your time on an artist who maybe could get it in a few days when you could just go to the professionals and have them knock it out in a few hours, right? And nobody's going to know the difference. But of course, they didn't tell people, and that was the real problem. Was that they didn't tell people that these artists didn't actually record uh, these songs in the studio. These people you thought were musical geniuses, not so much the musical geniuses. 'Cause most of them didn't even write their own music. I don't know who these people are, Phil. But yeah, I mean, I think sometimes in the music itself they try to tell you. At Muscle Shoals, they got the Swampers, and they've been known to pick a song or two. Yes, they do. And then I think the Beastie Boys were trying to tell us something was going on with the sabotage, man. Trying to tell y'all, all y'all, it's a sabotage. Trying to tell all y'all it's a sabotage. What's a sabotage? What are they talking about? Can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'm gonna set straight this Watergate. What Watergate? What are you talking about? Beasties? They were from Brooklyn, of course. The old Beastie Boys. They were trying to warn us. And of course, they're not around anymore. All right, Jalen Hurts now back to pass. Looking left, looking center, looking right, scrambling around, and throws it incomplete. Third and goal, 5:22 left. Now it's kind of a dangerous time in the game. Fourth and goal, better kick the field goal, Sirianni, because if you miss this field goal or go for it and don't make it, the oh yeah, the writers for Motown, yeah, they had a bunch, right? Smokey Robinson wrote some stuff, and Barry Gordy wrote some stuff himself. But then they had these teams. They did have these teams. And I think there were a couple other teams as well. One of them was like a brothers team. Maybe it was the Holland brothers. And then there was another team. They had a couple of these teams. Offsides on the defense. Nope. Nope. Gotta re-kick it. Gotta re-kick it. But at least with Motown, you knew they had songwriters. It was sort of more honest. Some of these places, they made you think the Beatles wrote it and recorded it, or the Stones. I mean, the idea that what's his name, the guitarist from Rolling Stones, whose name just refuses to come into my brain. The fact that he was in the bathroom, you know, for a while and came up with Wild Horses. Yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. Like that's the official canon story of how Wild Horses was written. He was at Muscle Shoals. He went into the bathroom to take a dump, and he wrote Wild Horses. I mean that's ridiculous. Songwriting doesn't work like that. You can't do that. Even if he there was some truth to it, he came up with the chorus or something, and while he was sitting there. I mean, a song takes a long time to come up with. Yeah, Keith Richards. Yeah, right. A song takes a long time to come up with the melody, the words, the how are you going to instrumentalize it, and all. To think he was sitting on the toilet and came up with Wild Horses is crazy, but that's the official story in music history about that, and we're supposed to believe it. I mean, when they tell you something like that, what are we supposed to believe? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Guy came up with the whole song, all of it, the instrumentation, the pacing, you know, everything, the melody. You know, it's ridiculous. They want us to believe this craziness, and and the question is why? Why do they come up with a story like that? It's so obviously not true. And why are they telling us this phony baloney story? Because it's a fugazi and it's a sabotage. I'm telling all y'all it's a sabotage. The Beastie Boys were trying to warn us also. You know, those guys from Brooklyn, they're going to tell you the truth. I tell you that much. This is what the Beastie Boys are doing. But what the truth about what is the question. That's what we don't know. That's what we don't know right now. Telling all y'all is a sabotage. Well, I think what's going on in this game, either there's going to be a tremendous comeback by the Chiefs, or they're setting it up for next year. They're setting up the storyline for next year, which will be the great Chiefs comeback. Mahomes leads the Chiefs all the way back with his greatest season yet. He had a one season of 50 touchdowns. Next year, he's going to throw for 60 touchdowns because he's pissed off. You thought he was motivated before? You've never seen motivated like this. Now he's really motivated. He's motivated times 230. Before it was only motivated times 100. Now he's motivated times 231. I mean, he's going to really try next year. He's going to try super hard. He used to study 23 hours a day. Now he's going to study film 23 and a half hours a day and sleep only at 30 minutes per day. That's how angry and pissed off Mahomes is going to be. Or they're going to come back in this game. 5:18 left in the third quarter, 27-0. Kansas City is down. Down. Mahomes have been under pressure all night. People trying to give Fangio credit. I mean, it's a four-man line, and the line is just rushing. And it's like, just get high-quality rushers on your defensive line. It doesn't take much coaching. Brandon Graham getting in there even. There's a completed pass. So let's see if the Chiefs can somehow stay in this game. It wouldn't surprise me if they are able to come back and make a game of it because, of course, it's the Chiefs and it's Mahomes. So you can never count him out. They're doing a running play. So the clock will keep running. O'Matic is here. Jalen Hurts winning the Super Bowl might increase. No, I don't think so, O'Matic. There's no relation between those two. Why would those two be related? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's lots of quarterbacks with who are super mobile these days. It's not unusual. I mean, Milrow is a guy with a rocket arm who's super mobile, but has other problems as a quarterback. So you could say Milrow compares to Josh Allen. Milrow compares to any quarterback who runs. There's a lot of them. I don't see why it would be particularly Hurts. Holding against the Mahomes. Second down. And Brandon Graham, that's definitely holding. And BG is in there, 55. So he came back from an injury and got in there to make it to the Super Bowl. He's got to feel great if they win this game. That he was able to come back from injury and then he play a role, have some snaps, have some meaningful snaps in the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool for BG. He should be retiring after the season, I believe. So that's one player they'll definitely lose Good old Brandon Graham. It's funny because they used to have Fletcher Cox. They lost him and didn't suffer much, if at all. They just kept replacing and replenishing. But that is what you can do once you get the quarterback situation handled. Once Hurts showed that he was the man after the second year there, then they could focus more on get their draft capital on the defense. Took them a little bit of building, but able to do so. Keep replenishing, replacing, improving. Yeah, flag killed him, homie run. Surprise, surprise. But like I said, maybe the narrative is, oh, you wait till you see the comeback next year by this guy. He's gonna throw 60 touchdown passes. Never before done in NFL history. Ooh, almost another pick six. Jeez. Are they gonna have to punt again? Man, it also just goes to show like the importance of nailing your second and third and fourth round picks. You can't take a Jeremy Ruckert in the third round and have him contribute nothing to your team. That kills you because of the opportunity cost of the guy you could have taken. Like just taking a third rounder who does absolutely nothing for your team is a killer. I mean, you got to hit on those mid round guys. I mean, you got to hit on the top round guys too, but that's a little easier. The mid rounds, man, you gotta get contributors at least. And the late round dudes, you hope they could at least contribute on special teams or something. But you know, that's really the difference between the good teams and the bad teams. You can just keep replenishing and replacing talent at a low cost with these rookie contracts. Yeah, I think this is shocking. I think everybody's kind of shocked about this performance here. I mean, what are they going to say about Andy Reid? Andy Reid, such a great coach. Well, why did he have this performance in the Super Bowl? Oh, because Vic Fangio is an amazing coach. Okay, but it was mostly the four down linemen rushing. I mean, Fangio didn't really. I mean, I guess you could say he called a twist or a stunt once in a while, but mostly it was just the four down linemen rushing that caused a problem. Fangio's a genius. It reminds me of all the times they thought Robert Saleh was a genius when he had great defensive lines and they were sacking everybody when it was with us or with San Francisco, and they'd say, "Wow, this Robert Saleh uh, is just an amazing defensive mind." It's like, well, I mean, if you have amazing defensive linemen and they sack the quarterback, then you're a genius somehow. How does that? Josh Sweat is also a free agent uh, coming up, so that's a guy that they could lose, and he changed agents. They're saying to Drew Rosenhaus, so somebody might get him. So that might be a guy that Philadelphia loses, perhaps, perhaps. Yeah. According to Next Gen Stats here at the stadium, Eagles' pressure rate is up to 52.4% with a 0% blitz rate. When you can do that, anybody can coach the damn defense, including me. Just going to have my four down linemen, and I'll have seven in coverage. I mean, geez. Jojo says just need to hit. Yeah, yeah. We tried. I mean, he picked those positions, but they stunk. Carter Warren and Max Mitchell. Here's a bomb to the Slim Reaper. That looks like a touchdown. Steve Spagnuolo, stock down. Kellen Moore, stock up. But of course, he's already got a job. And the blowout is on. Going to be 34 to nothing. They're just embarrassing the Queefers. Swamp Rangers here. Yeah. A bomb to the Slim Reaper. $17 million, no problem. Win a Super Bowl. $17 million for 2.5 sacks, no problem. Win the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's how strong this roster is. But there's always next year. I mean, so like they might let Sweat go because they think, all right, we're going to have to get something out of Bryce Huff. I don't know what their cap situation is like, but Spagnuolo not too happy about what's going on right now. So yeah, as I fix this camera. So for those who may not know, if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Or if not, give it a thumbs up. We appreciate it. And there's also a join button in case you want to join the inner circle for exclusive content. That's a new thing, $5 a month only. Feel free to join by clicking the join button. But if you don't want to do that, that's cool. Subscribe is totally free, and clicking the like button also totally free. And also, feel free to leave a comment down below, I guess, for more engagement and on this video as well. This game has turned into an old-fashioned blowout, so the NFL cannot be real too thrilled with this, as the Eagles are blowing at the Kansas Swifty Chiefs. Although in one sense it's bad because if Mahomes loses this, that's one opportunity down the drain for him to gain toward Tom Brady in terms of Super Bowl trophies. One, and he's like pretty much the only one who could possibly catch him. And Brady's got 7, which is insane. But of course, Mahomes is still young, so that's not a problem. But I don't think so, JoJo. I mean, to a certain extent, but these coaches, they all run the same drills. They all do pretty much the same things. Here's a deep pass to Xavier Worthy for a big gainer. That's a big play that they haven't been able to get all game long. I think from this point on, when Philly gets the ball, they got to run out the clock now. Don't let Casey get any momentum. So I'm not a big proponent on the development of guys is on the coaches. Development is really on the players themselves. They have to develop themselves. The coaches have enough to do to get them physically ready to play and then get a game plan in place and mentally ready to play so that they can win a game. Development happens on your own. The extra work you put in, the extra time that you put in on your own, the off season. So I'm not going to put that on the coaches. I think people make too much of that, really. The guys who improve are the ones who are working at their craft year round, off season, all that kind of thing. They take nutrition seriously. They they do crazy workouts, and they're always looking to get the the latest edge, whatever it may be, sleep, nutrition, recovery, regen, meditation, all that kind of thing. And they do it year round when they're not at the facility, and they can't be at the facility by law, by NFL law, year round. They could voluntarily go there, but they can't be mandated to do so. So I'm not going to put that on the coaches. And I also think like the coaches who get a lot of praise are ones who have great players like, you know, Like, wow, Andy Reid is so amazing. But then look at Patrick Mahomes play, and Patrick Mahomes makes a lot of plays that are not called, off schedule. Yeah, and the funding ran out, Jet 41. Funding has run out for all of you District of Criminals people, all of you cretins spending our freaking uh, tax dollars on garbage. It's all going down the drain right now. So Mahomes, 11 out of 21, 124 yards, no touchdowns, two interceptions. Very bad, very bad. But the game's not over. There's less than a minute left in the third quarter, and Kansas City looking to try to get on the board, and that's a hold not called. Mahomes fires toward the end zone. That's a touchdown. So they're not going to get shut out. So that's unfortunate. It's definitely a catch. So Mahomes finds a way to get on the board. Like I said, the Eagles now have to really see, like this play. Like, was this a great play call? The guy just runs straight. What a great route by Xavier Worthy. Oh my goodness. But Mahomes scrambled around, and then he was just open. He threw it to him. So it's on Mahomes. 2-point conversion, no good, no bueno. Kelsey looking a little sluggish. All right, 34-6. Let's get the ball. Let's run it. Let's kill the clock, Eagles. Let's get Barkley going. Yeah, that is. Somebody mentioned Tom Brady's watch. That is quite the watch he's got on. I bet you that watch probably costs more than your house. I bet you that watch he's got on right now costs more than your house. This is a man who makes $37 million a year to announce football games and tell you they got to stop the run. They got to put pressure on the quarterback. 37 mil. Thanks, Tom. 30. Here's a check for $37 million. Oh, all right. So now the Swifties will kick it off, and the Eagles are returning it. I say let's get Barkley involved here. Let's run it down their throats. Bud is a Chiefs fan. Anne Hathaway is an Eagle fan. You got to wonder about these Chiefs fans that are famous Chiefs fans. Come on. A famous Hollywood actor is really a Kansas City Chiefs fan. No, 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 no. That watch that Brady's wearing? No, that's not a fake, Phil. Because that's a flex, bro. When you got it like Brady, that's a flex, bro. I'm wearing a $2 watch. Are you out of your mind? That's probably a $500,000 watch. Out of your mind? That's called signaling, bruh. Why do I have a $500,000 watch? Because I can, bitches. You feel me? That's a flex. He flexing. He's just wearing a watch. Yeah, he flexing. That's what he's doing. It's the end of the third quarter, ladies and gentlemen. 34-6. 34-6. 34-6. And this break of between the third and fourth quarter, enjoy this little song from Staten Island's own Das Frog on K Frank.
1, 2, 3, 4. When I rise from the mire, I'll be above you. It's a crime that desire had to corrupt you. I am armed with an armload of stories. Some are weighted with shame, some tell of glory. When you rise from this madness and see how guilty your past is, you'll be so gone by then that only God will be your friend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I rise from depression, I'll be against you. Your manufactured oppression, I guess it freed you. Well, when you rise from this madness and see how guilty your past is, you'll be so gone by then that only God will hold your hand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you rise from this madness and see how guilty your past is, I'll watch you burn in the fire. I'll be your bird on the wire. Well, I'm a sconce with desire, but I can't handle the liar. Oh, when you rise from the madness and see how guilty your past is, you'll be so gone by then that only God will be your friend. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
$100,000 watch. Yeah, see, I told you. More than your house. 800K. Why? Because he can. That's why. Hmm. That's why. With 30 remaining in the fourth quarter. Run, run, run the ball, Philly. Keep the clock moving. Nope, they're throwing it. It's a Super Bowl, but it hasn't been exactly a super game. Tell you that much. Super Bowl, 72 yards rushing by Jalen Hurts, most all time by a quarterback in the Super Bowl. Yeah, you're going to see that record broken probably quite a few times in the next couple of decades as these quarterbacks run more and more. Eventually, every NFL team's going to have a mobile quarterback who can really run. That's just the way it's going. These pocket passers are going to go the way of the dodo birds, the doo doo birds. Well, 9:56 remaining in the fourth quarter. Ex Jet Braden Mann will come on to. Oh no, they're gonna. Are they gonna go for a field goal? Go make it 37-6. I mean, I don't think it's really possible to come back from 31 points in with 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. It'd be kind of sketchy. It'd be kind of sketchy. The goal is good. 37-6. A 31-point lead with 9:51 remaining in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. So you'd have to think if the Chiefs lose, then certainly Travis Kelsey's going to come back, right? That's one of the things they said earlier today is that, whether Kelsey plays next year or not, it may depend on the outcome of this game, implying that if they win, he'll just ride off into the sunset uh, and do other things. He wants to be an actor and all these other things, which explains the relationship with T Swifty, gotta get your Q score up. Got to get your Q score up somehow. How are we gonna get your How are we gonna get your Q score up, buddy? Oh, I'll just date the most famous musician in the world. Oh, okay. So, but now that they've lost, you'd think he's going to come back, probably. I would think. Looks kind of bad if you lose a Super Bowl and then you're like, I quit. I'm retiring. I can't take it anymore. That's probably not going to happen. So Kelsey's probably coming back. So that's good for old Mahomes. Maybe next year he throws 60 touchdowns. Who knows? Who really knows? Jones with a knee injury, doubtful to return. So Chris Jones is another one who's getting a little long in the tooth. Great player, but now he's getting up there in age. How much longer is he going to be a dominant player in this league? Got to wonder. It looks like Jalen Hurts will be the MVP of this game, I would say. Seems like. Seems like. Kleenex Tissues, the latest sponsor for the Chiefs and their stupid fans. So arrogant. I mean, I guess any fan base, once a team has success, they just become insufferable. Yeah. And that's how the Chiefs fans are right now. But I guess that pretty much would apply to any fan base. Imagine if we started winning. I mean, God forbid. How insufferable would we be? We'd be pretty insufferable, I think. But now, I mean, we can't say nothing. I mean, this that's something about this offseason. We can't say anything to anyone as Jet fans. Like, we cannot say a damn word to anyone else. You know, we got if somebody wants to say something about our team, we just gotta go. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we got nothing. What are we gonna say? We got nothing to say this off season. Ooh, man, they rocked Mahomes on that one, and he lost the ball. This is what happens. This is what happens when you put your quarterback in bad situations. And I can pretty much bet you that the Kansas Swifty Chiefs are going to be drafting offensive linemen until the cows come home this draft. So if you're looking at the draft, the back of the draft, they're going to be picking 31st. Maybe whatever tackle lasts, they're gonna have to draft him because this offensive line is just not good enough. They're going to probably just reload that offensive line, and then they'll be back at it again. Bums still losing. Yeah, them bums are still losing. The Kansas Swifty Chiefs are going to be. They're setting it up for next year. The setup. It's not a setback. It's a set up for a comeback. You see, it's not a setback. It's a set up for a comeback. You see, and that comeback is next year. I think long term about these things. The NFL has got a lot of money on the line. I guess winning this game wouldn't probably get them any extra money. I mean, all the Swifties have already watched all the playoff games involving the Chiefs. There's no more games that you can watch after this one. So, if they were going to lose one, this would be a good one to lose because then you could set it up for next year so the Swifties can keep watching and the drama. Oh my God, we got to come back. We got to have revenge for this ass whooping. There's always the comeback, you see, in the narrative arc for the script writers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kermit McFloppy got smacked in the head. All right, 9 minutes left, second down and 3. They're probably just going to feed Barkley. Ooh, this is not a good play. That's a 2 or 3 yard loss. But one thing, the Saints fans got to be pretty happy right now. Saints fans are going, wow, we're going to get Kellen Moore. This is amazing. We're going to be the next Eagles. Yeah. Yeah. How's your offensive line looking compared to theirs? And if there was one coach I could steal from any team, this is a good thought experiment. If there was one coach from any team in the NFL you could steal and put on the Jets staff, who would it be? You could steal one coach from all the other 31 teams. You could steal one coach and put him on the Jets. Who would it be? Who would your one coach be? You get one coach. You could steal him, put him on the Jets staff. Who you stealing? Who you got? I'll tell you who I'm stealing. Jeff Stoutland. That's who I'm stealing. Stealing me some Jeff Stoutland. I'm Barkley with another handoff. It only goes for about a yard, so they know they're going to run. So they're loading up for that. Got to keep that clock moving. Although clock seems to be stopped. Did they call a timeout? Did they call a timeout? Yes, they did. Oh, you force them to use their timeout. Abmo says the guy on Cheers. No, Jeff Stoutland's the O-line coach for the Eagles. Give me the O-line coach for the Eagles. I'll make a good offense out of it. I'll make a good offense out of it. They're in field goal range. It seems like the Eagles are always in field goal range. How are they always in field goal range? It's amazing. Another field goal. They put up flag on the play. There's a rules violation, everybody. Rules violation, everybody. Rules violation, everyone. Somebody broke the rules, you see. Rules violation, everybody. Somebody broke the rules. False start. Somebody broke the rules. We got a rules violation, fellas. We can't be having any of these shenanigans, fellas. See? You got to keep the shenanigans to a minimum. You see, fellas. Keep the shenanigans to a minimum, fellas. See? And this field goal is good. See if they throw any flags now. Nope. So they put up a 40 burger on Spags. They put up a 40 burger on Spags. What about that? Spagnuolo was getting all sorts of credit. Now his team's getting killed. This defense is making the Chiefs O line look porous. Well, I think the Chiefs O line kind of stinks, anyways. I mean, they got Joe Tooney out at tackle. He's a guard. You're paying that guy 20 plus million to play guard. We tried to get him. Remember that? Um, and yeah, they got him out there playing tackle. He's not a tackle. Never been a tackle. Not a tackle. He's a guard. So they're changing people around. They paid Jawan Taylor way too much money. They gave him a big giant contract, and he's not very good either. And then the interior is normally good, but also Trey Smith is an impending free agent. So if you're going to sign him, that's another $20 million guy. You're going to pay 40 plus million for your two guards, or are you going to let him go? There's a lot of teams looking at Trey Smith as a guy that they want for their team, including the Bears, among others. So um, if you lose him, that's another piece. So they're going to have to hit the offensive line, I think, pretty heavy in the draft. We'll see how they do, but I think that's the way they're going to go. Certainly, the D line is pretty awesome. I mean, there's no question about that. Josh Sweat, there's a free agent. He's going to make some money one way or the other. Biggie looking good for her age. Yeah, she doesn't seem to age much, right? That's what's good about Muppets. The non-aging. 2025 Hall of Fame inductees: Eric Allen, Jared Allen, two Allens. That's confusing. Antonio Gates and somebody else. Now Kermit McFloppy will try to salvage some, I guess, self-respect and some points. They should put Carson Wentz in the game. I mean, why risk injury with Mahomes? Put Carson Wentz in there. Let's see what he can do. We got to see what Carson Wentz can do. He's going to be a free agent. Are they going to retain him? Somebody else going to want Carson Wentz for their team? All these QB needy teams. Anybody interested in old Carson Wentz, or no, or not? Expensive garbage time. The good news about Scratchy Malachi. He's our wide receiver too now. If we let Adams and Lazard go, so Scratchy Malachi gets a promotion. So there's that. So there's that. Now, what's the point of having Mahomes in this game, really? We could get injured. Maybe Worthy has 100 yards receiving. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Rule was broken. The rule was broken, everybody. This is an interception, but probably coming back because flag on the play, everybody. But might as well run it back for a touchdown. You never know. Plus, you're taking time off the clock. That's on the defense. Yeah. Offsides. 98 defense. Boy, Jalen Carter has really fulfilled expectations, hasn't he? Has it, everybody thought he was going to be so great, and he has been. He did not disappoint one bit. Man, that was one guy that everybody said, this guy's incredible. And turns out, yep, he sure is. He sure is. This won't be the first time. Yeah, they're going to have to do it again. It's time for a redo. Time for a redo. That's where the resources are going for sure. I don't know what they're going to do with Jawan Taylor. I mean, they gave him a lot of money. I think they're still stuck with him. But if there's any way to get out of that contract, they probably should. He's no good. They could probably also do with a better blocking tight end. They got all their tight ends are sort of receiver types. Yeah, everybody needs more blocking tight ends, in my opinion. Especially the Jets. Oh yeah, Phil Adams is with us. It's 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. 2200 hours. Hey, Kenny Pickett is a Super Bowl champion. It's 2200 hours here on the East Coast of America, but it's 3 a.m. over in England where old Phil Adams is hanging out. So, you know, got to give it to Phil. Either Phil is a great guy or he just has really nothing else to do, or maybe a combination of those things. Maybe there's just nothing going on the entire country of Great Britain. We don't know. He should have been a top 2 pick. Yeah, everybody thought he was one of the best players in the draft, but if you remember, right before the draft, he got into legal trouble with car racing or something, and so had some legal trouble. So people thought he might be immature and all that, and get into trouble in the NFL and all. And as far as we know, he hasn't gotten into any trouble at all. So that was the thing with him. Some teams didn't want him for that reason. Mo's 9 p.m. there. That's Central Time. 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Pacific. There's another touchdown. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. There's a rule broken, everybody. Somebody broke the rules. They broke the rules, everybody. There's a rule broken, everybody. So, there's a rule broken. Kenny Pickett's going to get to be a Super Bowl champion. Mekhi Becton's going to get to be a Super Bowl champion. Uh, our punter that we drafted is going to be a Super Bowl champion. Technically, Bryce Huff still gets to be a Super Bowl champion, even though he was inactive. Um, you know, it's just the way it goes. The clock ticks down. The clock ticks down. Bleep or Super Bowl blowout. Yeah, this is probably the worst Super Bowl in the last few years. Absolutely non-competitive, and Kansas City gets blown out. So we'll have to see what changes they make in the offseason. How is this loss going to affect them going forward? They're going to have to put some resources to offensive line. They're going to have to. A lot of these pieces are going to lose. DeAndre Hopkins probably, Trey Smith probably. Uh, some pieces on their defense, I would assume. I don't know if he had his feet down here. His knee is down. One knee equals 2 feet, as the great John Madden would say. One for two, why not? 2 point attempt. Justin Watson's a free agent. That's a free agent we could look into. Right there, that dude. There was a rules violation on the play, everybody. Rule was broken. Somebody broke a rule, everybody. Can't have that. Rule was broken. Can't have it. Went to the medical tent. So Kenny Pickett may get into this ball game. So, Side kick recovered by the Eagles. That should just about do it, ladies and gentlemen. Not that if they didn't recover would have made much of a difference. But yeah, I think I guess one of the things people are going to say about this game, and it's not surprising, but I guess when it happens in the Super Bowl, maybe more people take notice of it, is just how dominant the defensive line of the Eagles was, and how dominant the offensive line of the Eagles was, and how much the offensive line of the Chiefs was leaky, and the defensive line of the Chiefs wasn't as good, and because Chris Jones got injured. And so maybe more and more people will pay attention to the offensive and defensive lines, as they should, of course. Um, for example, our first round pick should probably be the offensive tackle from LSU. Old Gatorade bath for Nick Sirianni. Well, Super Bowl winning coach Nick Sirianni, Kenny Pickett's in now, as Hertz is injured apparently. But he's just going to turn around and hand the ball off. So Kenny Pickett made it to the Super Bowl before Trevor Lawrence. How about that? Poor Travis. Swifty going to have to work extra hard to make her man smile tonight. Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of alcohol involved, Phil. That'll make it easier or harder, depending on what you're trying to do. Hey, but you know, look, they're going to be crying in their Dom Perignon champagne and their caviar. It's not too bad. Gainwell in there instead of Barkley at this point in time. Super Bowl winning coach Nick Sirianni. Super Bowl winning general manager Howie Roseman. Two-minute warning. And we've reached the 2-minute warning in this blowout of a Super Bowl. And, no further news being reported by anyone. So you wonder about all these news reports that came out today, Rodgers and everything else. Why are they getting released on Super Bowl day? That's something that needs to be studied. Figure out what the hell's going on there. Think that we were anticipating the news of Rodgers being this week, but then it broke today from Jay Glazer. Says biggest takeaway from SB Licks: the Fox graphics are too freaking big. Yeah, they're too big and terrible. Whoever designed them is not very good at designing things. I mean, come on. I could have done a better job. That's no good. What are you doing, Fox? Spent all your money on Tom Brady's salary so he could have an $800,000 watch, and you got no more money for good designers? What's going on? You need to design better. And also, all these commercials are horrible. I don't know who could look forward to these terrible commercials. I haven't. They haven't made me want to purchase a single thing. I don't want to buy anything. So they did not. They did not serve their intended purpose. I'll tell you that much. Not much. Lady Gaga's in the house, everybody. That's important to know. Quote unquote Paul McCartney's in the house, everybody. That's not the real Paul, though, as we all know. Right, Kenny Pickett in the shotgun, everybody. Mekhi Becton is not on the field. Throws a pass, incomplete. Why are you throwing a pass? It doesn't matter, but I guess I guess they took him out just to, just because the starters are coming out, I guess. Lots of free agents. Milton Williams is a free agent. Sweat's a free agent. Becton's a free agent. Lots of free agents from this Super Bowl winning team. And now it's garbage time. So Mahomes is going to start throwing some bombs up there. Jeez. Just keep putting up garbage time numbers, buddy. I guess that's important. I guess that's important. So we're going to get another onside kick. So this is exciting. This is why you don't let Kenny Pickett throw passes. That's the first mistake you made. That's the first mistake you made. Inside kick attempt. And that'll do it for the match. That'll pretty much do it. Okay, bringing the facts. His watch is a caviar tourbillon with yellow sapphires by Jacob and Company, 600 grand. There you go. 600 grand for a watch. More than your house. Tells you the same amount of time as my cell phone. But that's not the point of it, is it? That's not the point of it. I think more people are going to read that book, Inner Excellence, now. Super Bowl champion A.J. Brown reads Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy on the sidelines. Maybe you should incorporate it into your program, coach. Yeah, that sort of thing. Good. More people should be reading books on the sideline and anywhere else, for that matter. More people we can get reading books, the better off we're going to be. All right, so that'll do it. The Philadelphia Eagles are your 2024 2025 NFL champions, Super Bowl champions. And this sets up the comeback for next year for the Chiefs. And if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? It's free. And why not give the video a thumbs up? That's also free. If you want to join the inner circle, click the join button underneath this video, and you too can join the inner circle for $5 a month. Uh, Otherwise, I thank you for joining me. I'm going to sign off. This season is finally over. The off season is starting. It's time to rebuild and remake this Jets franchise. AG is now in control, and we'll have to hope for the best. Hopefully, he's going to turn out to be a great executive and a great head coach and a great everything else because we're going to need it. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.